the Dorsey brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
A very good morning to you. Welcome along to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne, alongside Republic of Ireland striker, formerly Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Alan Brazil's favourite baby child, Moses Atoma, continued to deliver after defeating Jermaine Franklin in Manchester. Here's how the winning moment sounded live on talkSPORT.
To his crown.
So is this 21-year-old lad now ready to tackle the heavyweight game and the greats involved in it? We'll be getting boxing pundit Ruth Raper's thoughts later on in the show. Scotland suffered a 1-0 defeat against Japan in the first World Cup warm-up, and boss Steve Clarke said he's surprised his players were booed off at full time in Hampden.
Disappointed me, I have to be honest. It's just the modern way. It seems to be now if you lose a game you get booed, so you just got to deal with it.
Bit sad really. Ben White on Saturday. Scotland fans yesterday. Is it really ever okay for fans to boo their own players? And yesterday the great Sean Dyche was here at talkSPORT Towers, and after links to the Spurs job, he told a funny story about whether he'd been approached for the role yet.
This guy goes, oh, you meant to be in talks with Spurs tonight. I know, well, I'm standing next to you having a pint of Guinness. So I said, it's unlikely. I said, at least you work for Spurs and they're in the Seven Stars pub having a pint of Guinness. I said, it's highly unlikely.
What we like, honestly, we just get ahead of ourselves, don't we, in the media?
Well, I said that yesterday morning, didn't I? Well, I can't see the link of having the Tottenham job over the weekend or in the next few days, and he's doing talkSPORT on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Here we are. Yeah. You never know, though. You still might.
No. And, stranger things have happened.
We'll get your thoughts, Cass, on whether Sean Dyche is the right man to steer Spurs away from their relegation troubles. A big day ahead. Come and get involved with us. 03717 223344. We're chatting about booing. Are you a booer? Would you like to get booed? 81089. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Morning. It's like an actual sauna in this room.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Now, normally I like it hot, so I completely see when you're here with Gabby.
Yeah.
Sometimes you and a 4-hour show, you're like, oh, Shebahn, it's getting hot in here. And then we have to turn it down. But today's like furnace.
Yeah. Well, it's nice now. It's nice.
You feel it cool down already?
Yeah, it's cooled down already.
Sweating,
Yeah,
man.
I like it. I used to always wear short sleeves when I was playing football because I always wanted to have the image of like whatever,
Tough guy.
cold, yeah, and leading the line and being meant to be tough and all that. And as I got older, I've got softer, Shebahn.
Yeah. I think it does happen with age, to be honest.
Yeah, I just love it now when it's warm. Even when I don't even contemplate holidays and I think, oh, I don't know if I can go somewhere that's not warm.
Yeah.
And I've been in a lot of Scandi countries and others and Eastern Bloc when it's not been, I've been to Latvia when it's really, really cold and it's been great fun. But I do, as you get older, get a little bit more spoiled. You want the warmth.
This is so good for you, though. I mean, we're going to Ireland this week, to a place that I've been going to all of my life. We place in Northern Ireland, and there's no heating, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no TV. Proper back to basics. I love it. And Jamie's like, sorry, not doing it. Not coming. Oh, okay.
I think he's probably looking for a golf excuse.
Well, this is it. Well, apparently he's booked.
So it's you and the 2
5 days
kids,
ago.
yeah?
Me and the kids. I'll meet my mum and dad and my sister and her kids. My other sister's coming.
Oh, right. So you can have a lot of entertainment.
Yeah. No, it'll be good
great,
fun.
yeah.
Get the kids to bed and we'll smash open a Whispering Angel. It'll be fun. We'll have a great time. But like, I love that. I love the idea of like being chilly and having to laid up warm and sit and chill and put blankets around you.
Yeah.
Chill being the right word.
I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
No.
How are you feeling today? Because we lost an hour's sleep.
Well, yeah, I didn't get great sleep last night because obviously, like most people, when you start thinking about getting up, you wake up. And to be honest, Scotland sort of sent me asleep beforehand. And during the day.
Whoa. Yeah, just remember it was a friendly and it meant nothing. All right.
I know do you know what? It's a really weird concept how we've got to this booing thing, and I think Steve reads it wrong. Is that they're booing, they're booing because fans want to be entertained. It's the final game before you get to a tournament, and what we've seen in the last few days, and we saw it with England as well, that it is not a great experience when people have spent, good money to go along, and it's the final games before you go to a World Cup, and the fans are. They feel like they want to be entertained. You're seeing elite footballers getting paid a hell of a lot of money. And I get the reason why footballers maybe are not so urgent of, making tackles or getting themselves in, like we saw in midweek. We saw the great games with Ireland, obviously getting beat by Czech Republic. The game itself was entertaining because it was, one way and then the other way. And likewise with Wales.
But we knew it was on the line, and that's the thing with these friendlies. And we discussed it yesterday in the office about maybe did they start to deduct money off the prices because they're not going to be playing or seeing.
What was was it a full house?
Yeah. I mean, it was as always at Hampden. They're always there supporting them. And Japan had a good side.
Yeah,
but he has to manage it because our top players, Cass. I know you're trying to get an idea of what's to come. But you do not want them getting injured in those games.
Of course, I get it.
Wrapped up in cotton wool. There's nothing to play for. Yes, Steve Clark's trying to get an idea of what he's going to get together, but he knows what he's doing. He doesn't need to play Japan to know who's his best players for the World Cup.
No, I know.
He needs to keep them safe.
It's an exercise. Look, Shebahn, I've been there myself. I've played enough internationals to know that prior to a tournament, the last thing you want to do is make a daft challenge that gets you injured for a tournament. Of course, I understand and respect that. But fans go... And because it's the final games before the World Cup, and obviously if they can't afford to go to the World Cup, because it's ridiculous money, they want to be entertained to some degree.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And England wasn't entertaining, was it, on Friday night?
No,
was it at all? Scotland was not entertaining. Meaningless games, really. And what did we actually learn? Please, someone tell me something. What did we learn?
That players
may not be good enough, and that's it.
We learned that people boo.
Yeah,
that's what. And Steve's right. It's the modern game. That's what people seem to do now. We have to accept it, get on with it. But you're right. I mean, nothing in terms of football.
And it'll be the same fans in America that will cheer their heads off for the team when it starts. I guarantee you, all the fans will be absolutely full support behind their teams.
Yeah, and in fairness, Jordan Henderson had done an interview and he'd said about some fans don't even know why they're booing. Obviously, he got booed when he went to Saudi. That was a big thing that he had to deal with. Like, just don't take it personally. Keep your head down. Keep going. kind of thing. Maybe it'll fuel players. You never know.
Okay, again, Shebahn, going back, I remember playing games before we went to World Cups and, European Championships. And there was a couple of it. I can remember Turkey away and us drawing 0-0, and it was an awful game. But Jack was very conscious and actually said to us, don't anybody, look, we didn't have the depth of what England might have or other countries, but don't anyone do anything daft and get themselves injured. He'd actually used that wording, calling you daft. If it's a mad challenge, if you didn't make a challenge in a World Cup game or a qualifier, it'd be on you like a ton of bricks. But if you went into a challenge that could get you injured, it'd likewise be onto you for being, don't you do anything daft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not me, all of us, so we lose players.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, the Ireland game midweek, the Wales game, Northern Ireland game, there was a lot on the line.
Yeah.
So players are giving it their everything and it was entertaining.
Well, you're on the edge, aren't you? You're fighting for everything.
Yeah, Scotland and England, we've had our entertainment. Yeah. Scotland we've had our entertainment.
You had the Denmark game, didn't you?
We had November. It was unbelievable. Let's focus on the World Cup now.
So, exactly. So that's really the argument, is that what they saw against Denmark was an incredible performance, littered with jeopardy in the match, and they were absolutely buzzing. But then they get to this game that's a friendly before they go, and they're expecting some sort of entertainment that has fallen short, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's give a little bit of benefit of doubt on the fans of going, well, yeah, booing, but, their memories are a little bit short on where we are now. Mm-hmm. But they'll be the same fans that go crazy in the World Cup.
I agree. Okay, let's focus on the fight then last night, shall we? It was live on talkSPORT. Moses Atoma emphatically defeating Jermaine Franklin by knockout. Here's how it sounded for you right here. Yeah, guy's an absolute freak, isn't he? I mean, just no surprises in there whatsoever. Moses Atoma reinforced his status as one of the heavyweight boxing brightest stars with a destructive fifth-round stoppage of Jermaine Franklin in Manchester last night. After the fight, he caught up with talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver about where his future lies next.
I kept wanting to work on the inside, and the ref kept breaking us up. And I said to the ref, no, let me work on the inside. And then I just, Jermaine Franklin took a step back because he thought the referee was going to break it. I used that opportunity to thread one up the middle. So, listen, it was part of the game plan, and we stuck to it.
Moses, it was the execution, though, the way you pushed through the shoulder, whipped the uppercut up, and more or less simultaneously whipped the hook over as well. I mean, speed, freakish speed for a heavyweight.
Thank you very much, Spencer. I appreciate it.
All right, just quickly, last one before you go. Look, you're knocking on the door now. It's going to be difficult to hold you back. You're world-ranked #1 in a lot of governing bodies. Where do you see the roadmap? World title this year. I don't know who it'll be, but world title shot.
Oh, man. Spencer, you know the boxing game. There's a pecking order I got to respect, and there's people that I need to answer to. So when I get the world title opportunity, don't worry, I'm going to grab it with both hands.
All I can focus on is Sierra in the background there. This guy's going places, no doubt, is he, Cass?
Yeah, well, if you look at some of the great heavyweights that are really explosive, dynamic, and you go Deontay Wilder, who had that, George Foreman had it, Mike Tyson had it, he's got it. He's got that, the uppercut that he catches Franklin with is a pretty severe punch. Look, one of the things he might have a bit of an issue with is there'll be some that will be brave enough to face him, but there'll be others that will want to avoid him. And that happens a lot in boxing.
Yeah.
And there'll be certain fighters who will want to avoid him. And I just can see it happening. Now, whether he will ultimately get to Usyk, because Usyk's what now, 37, nearly 38, around that age. Mm-hmm. He's got a challenge because, like I said, some people ain't going to want to go. They might be brave and say, yeah, I'll take him next, but actually not fight him.
Absolutely. We're going to debrief it all with Ruth Raper, former Team GB boxer, a little bit later on in the show. We can get the Japanese Grand Prix latest now with John Jackson. It's all underway. John, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's literally just started, and it was the two Mercedes on pole position and second on the front row. And Kimi Antonelli and George Russell both had horrendous starts there. They've just been overtaken mainly by Oscar Piastri in the McLaren, who now leads the race ahead of, looks like, one of the Ferraris. So Charles Leclerc has got ahead, with Lando Norris also getting ahead as well. So it currently looks like Oscar Piastri, followed by Charles Leclerc. Then we've got Lando Norris. Then we've got Lewis Hamilton. And then we've got one of the Mercedes. It's been an absolute disaster for the Mercedes team, which is probably good for us if we want an exciting race, because so far the Mercedes has been absolutely dominant. But if you are an Oscar Piastri fan, this is the first lap he has raced this season in a competitive nature in a Grand Prix, which seems ridiculous, but he's leading the race. The Japanese Grand Prix has 53 laps left to go, so if he's winning in 53 laps, it's going to be his season kick-started in the third race of the season.
John, thank you very much. More updates across the morning here on talkSPORT. Coming up, we'll ask Cass whether 90-minute footballers might soon become a thing of the past. It's the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more. Join us now to look ahead to all British heavyweight boxer Dillian Whyte. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Dillian.
Good morning, good morning. How's everything been? Good?
Yeah, good, mum.
Yeah, really, really good. You gutted for the Welsh last night for no reason whatsoever? Or is it just Gabby who's hammering them?
I have no comment.
Dillian, what are you thinking about this fight then? You fought both fighters, Itoma and Franklin. What are you expecting from Franklin in this fight?
I think it's a good fight. It depends on what Franklin turns up, because, you know, he can turn up and put on a good show and be a really good fighter. Sometimes he can turn up and be a little bit of a stinker, you know.
Go on, Cass, take it away.
I just about know who it is. It's Rihanna, isn't it?
It is Rihanna. This was a game-changing song, wasn't it?
But she had a few.
I cannot believe when this came out.
Let me have a guess. 2005?
A little bit higher.
Little bit. 7 then.
Yeah. I remember this so clearly. I remember who I was courting at the time.
Yeah?
Yeah. Used to pick me up and it was always on in the car.
Yeah, there is that. I had a period of playing Kings of Leon when their album come out for a period about 2000 sort of. That was probably about 8 or 9, maybe 9.
Who were you courting then?
Joe.
It was Joe, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's funny how music just takes you back to
Well, because sometimes, did you, with your relationships, Shebahn, did you have someone who had, like, Joe was living in Stopsley, which is the north of Luton.
Oh, yeah.
And I was driving up from Kent. So did you have a relationship of, like, being in a car more than an hour to get to them?
No, not really. I mean, when Jamie and I started going out, we were long distance because he was here and I was in Scotland. So then, yeah, it was different. And that's funny, I used to burn CDs and then bring them down. He'd pick me up at the airport and I would put on the CD in the car. But he wasn't the courting guy when Rihanna.
I was going to say, so mostly local guys then too, yeah.
Yeah. Make me sound like some sort of...
No,
yeah, the local guys.
Okay. I'm sure you had more than one boyfriend.
No, you're dead wrong. There's only ever been one in my life, okay? Yeah, no, I did have a couple.
Because music is a lot of that as well. When you're sitting in a car and you listen on the way up. And,
yeah.
You know, just...
I think you can
or talkSPORT.
You can suss someone out. Then
well, someone listened to talkSPORT coming all the way come to see you, and they'd listen to it all on the way in the car.
Oh no, what if they heard? Yeah, I remember once being on the radio when I was young. Should stop talking about ex-boyfriends, but
so you have had a few.
I've left. And there was this guy I used to see briefly, and I remember he texted the radio station. I remember right, creep. Who does that? Pied off the list. Don't contact me again. Or this radio station. Anyway,
go on.
Happily married now. About 10 years. Talking of ex-boyfriends, don't forget the 21 minutes. Sam, that's bad. 21 Minutes to Go podcast is available now from wherever you get your podcasts. Andy Goldstein and my ex-boyfriend, Jason Cundy, back together at last. Wherever you get your podcasts, available now. It's good fun. Really good fun. That's how I get into talkSPORT, Jason Cundy. Right, moving on. Because we had an hour less sleep, a wee bit all over the gaff today. Stay with me. Let's talk about the death of the 90-minute player. I would like to reiterate that nobody actually died. It's just the idea of this, that players soon could not actually be playing regularly 90-minute games. So we're talking about this because there's a stat doing the rounds from this week about former Chelsea and Villa midfielder Carney Chukwuemeka and how he's made 97 senior appearances across all competitions, but he's never played a full 90 minutes. In 97 appearances, he's never made a 90-minute game.
Yeah, he very rarely actually played first-team games as well. He was on the bench pretty much a lot of his career, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he started 18 games, but has always been subbed off. The closest he's got to... Sorry, Carney. The closest he's got to a full game is the 82nd minute, and that's happened twice. His other 79 apps have been from the bench.
Yeah, look, well, the game has gone. It's out there. It's obvious. There's so many substitutions available to a manager now, and there is also backup staff that look at certain players where they are in the red zone or whatever we want to call it. But yeah, it's becoming rarer to see players finish games. Yeah, most definitely.
Why do you think that is? Is it just managing minutes now, or is it? You
have more choice.
Has it been unlucky for Carney? Has it not just been a situation where maybe he's not been able to see through 90 minutes and they have to manage him more?
No, I think it's you have choices to make when you're a manager and you substitute. I mean, let's get it right. If you do your local team, so right, if I looked at Liverpool, I'm probably going to tell you more often than not who's going to get subbed. Yeah? Mm-hmm. You'd probably say the same as with Manchester United, yeah?
Mm-hmm, yeah?
So you're seeing, not all the time, but a lot of the time, the same people get replaced. And or the people that are getting replaced, the same subs are coming on, on a regular basis. So it's where the game is. You have so much choice. So I just see it as this is the evolution of football.
But will the best players then always play more minutes?
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah.
You're going to see more Declan Rice staying on the pitch for far longer with Arsenal. Does that ever mean he's going to be subbed? No. It means that a lot of the times, the players that you're reliant on and certain positions are going to be on the pitch by the end of the match more often than not.
Yeah.
You know, Salah was the problem. Salah hated being substituted. And there's a lot of players who actually think like that. And I get it. You don't like being, taken off before the end of a game.
So you would have reacted the same way? Or
not as bad as Salah. I mean, he was, I sort of knew. Me and Noel Quinn had a period with Ireland where we used to we room shared for a while, me and Quinny, and we'd leave the room before we go on the bus, and we'll say, well, we'll see each other after 60 minutes either way. Whether you start, I'm coming on for you, and if I start, you'll be coming on for me. Mm-hmm. It was a bit of a joke between me and Noel Quinn. Yeah, that happens a lot. That certain subs come on for the same people as well. But the game has got more choice. So with more choice, you're going to see this happen more often. The fact that one player, if we got a second one, if we got another player that played Premier League football that, never played a full 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's probably very hard to find.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. You can let us know your thoughts on that. 8 10 89 03717 22 3344. We're coming to the end of the 90-minute footballer. Don't forget talkSPORT Breakfast back tomorrow morning. What's funny?
Come to the end of the 90-minute footballer.
We're coming to the end?
Well, that's one example.
I know. Yeah, no, I know. True.
Okay.
Ali McCoy, alongside former Villa striker, usually blown after 5 minutes. Gabby Agbonlahor back for you on Monday on talkSPORT Breakfast. Tomorrow, set your alarm, 6 o'clock, early doors. Coming up next, we'll get stuck into a busy day in the EFL and National League on what was non-league day. We'll reflect all that next. Good morning.
Former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has broken his silence on Mo Salah's impending departure from the Reds. Here he is talking to the Anfield Wrap about the legacy that Salah will leave behind.
Unbelievable goal. So he was part of the best front three in world football for a long time and was the one who always had the highest numbers. So that says something. That really says something. It's not easy to be slightly above the other two guys, and they have all their specific skills. But Mo was the one for the last situation. He wanted to have that more than anybody. So Sadio was a mix of both. Like, yes, he wanted to score goals, but he could have played midfield even. So that's his skill set. Bobby was the genius who didn't care about anything and could play absolutely everything. And Mo was the one who was really always the goal in his mind. And you cannot train that, and I don't think you really can learn it. It's inside, and he has that, and he will have that.
Good morning, how's it going? You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. We're on the radio, we're on your smart TV if you want to turn us on. We're on the YouTube channel as well. You can watch the stream from the studio. Shebahn Aherne and former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. See, you really get to know Cass pretty quickly. Like, you're just straight as they come, you are.
What do you mean?
But see, when Nick said there about the whole Kit Kat story and the truck going missing,
Yeah.
I can see you go and think of dad jokes. Think of dad jokes.
And you walked in and did a joke.
Because I just thought I'll beat you to it. I said, give us a break, Nick. Whoa. You got any good phone? Thanks, Ed. DJ Ed on the buttons.
No, I didn't really think of one at that moment. No, I was concentrating on this next section.
You've changed. Okay, let's get to some of your serious news headlines this morning. Senegal paraded the AFCON trophy before Saturday's friendly match against Peru in Paris, despite being stripped of the title earlier this month. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Archie McPartland scored a dramatic late try as Prem leaders Northampton Saints came from behind to edge out Saracens at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium during a Gallagher Prem triple header yesterday. It was all live on talkSPORT 2, and it was all non-league day yesterday as well. Hope you enjoyed getting out and supporting your local clubs. If you did, let us know how it went. 81089. Cass and I got to adopt our teams for the weekend to support on non-league day. Mine was Carlisle, Southend was Cass's. We both won. Come on!
Yeah.
Carlisle defeated Braintree 2-1 in the National League, while Southend made it to the FA Trophy final with a 3-1 win over Southport. But did you see the scrap in Sutton versus Ross?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Yeah. Moose was there. What did he do? He filmed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a melee, and it does
on the TV now.
It does go a little bit further than most, for sure. And there's going to be one player, I'm not going to name him, but he'll be in a bit of problem because he literally goes round the sort of, as it's all starting, he goes round the back and sort of goes after a player. Yeah.
There's a lot of bodies involved there. A lot of people get knocked down and
rolling around,
pulled apart. The Rochdale manager Jimmy McNulty said it was like a 3 a.m. tear up, and it doesn't represent non-league day.
Oh, what's the manager doing at a nightclub at 3 a.m?
So how would you know, Jimmy? So I want to know, Jimmy.
Yeah. What do you say? I mean, look, this happens every now and again. All you can do is leave it with the governing bodies and let them get on with it and see who they need to punish. It's never a great look, but people get caught up. Been there myself. I've been in a melee probably 3 or 4 times in my career.
How did it go?
The last one, not very well. That was in Turkey.
Sparked out.
I took a few punches, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, Turkey. My final game for Ireland. It was... I actually was quite proud of myself because I thought I took a good punch.
So wait, you took a few, like...
Oh, I took a few, coming from everywhere.
Really? What'd you do?
Well, no, it was a bit of a silly story, really, but one of the Turkish players spat at me.
Oh, that's disgraceful. Right. Anything but spitting.
So I lost it a bit, and I'd come on as a sub, and when the game ended, I just thought I'm going to do something, to the player because he was next to me, he was marking me, and as he went to run off, I clipped his heels, and he tripped and fell.
Nice.
He's literally jumped up, run, and hit me, and within seconds, the whole I'm surrounded by bodies and taking punches, and I'm still trying to stand there. But the funniest thing of all was, when I walked back in the dressing room, I've got blood in my nose and that, and Roy Keane is sitting opposite me, next to Mick McCarthy, and he just looks at me with such discontent. You know what I mean? Like he was like, "What you do?" Didn't say a thing, but like, "You idiot!" Right? Like just give me the look. Like if looks could kill, it was that. And I remember looking back and thinking that was funny because Roy wanted to say something at the time but didn't, and he had a point. He was right. What was I doing, an idiot? What have I decided to clip his heels for as he went off to run?
It's that element of have some of that we heel clip.
Well, I always said, and I don't know if I should own this, but I'm gonna. I always said, and relations of mine and friends, I said, when I do finally call it a day, I'm going to go out with a bang, and I did that with international football. But I got the bangs, not no one else.
So that was your last game for Ireland.
Yeah, and still have a suspension today. That never, obviously, that's why Helgensson can't call me up.
Sure, remember Zidane's last game for France.
Yeah, but you do. Sometimes you just lose it out there, and you just feel like it's. Oh, we've just been knocked out for the. It would have been the Euros 2000. We just got knocked out, so it was all over for me anyway. At the time, I was 37.
Yeah,
so it was all over anyway.
Did you see my sister's recently? It was only a few months ago, 5 months ago maybe. She got a straight red card. For
I heard about it. It was quite bad, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, was it?
Oh no. Well, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that reports.
I mean, yes, it was. She's been crucified.
It did quote in the paper. Even her sister Shebahn was very disappointed. No.
You don't say that stuff out loud. She'd still batter me today. She'd still come around, put me in the headlock, and throw me around.
Oh look, we lose it. People lose it, and obviously how.
She said she just saw red. It was just
exactly.
She got that little push in the back, and it was like, "That's it, you're getting it." Like that kind of drum chapel came out in her, and she was like, "You're going down." And it just you snap. You can't control your emotions all the time, whereas at least what you're meant to.
I mean, obviously, some people go way too far.
Yeah.
But that mist does come down on, and it has done in my career, and people have done it to me. So, you have to be super careful. Yeah. Now, look, with regulation where we are today, is that everything is so, the punishments are pretty severe. And I know financial people don't sort of say, well, it don't affect the players, but they punish them in more than one way generally now, don't they?
Yeah. Interesting all the same yesterday, non-league day. More on that coming up a little bit later on. Don't forget you can watch.
It's not a good look for non-league day.
Yeah, that's what we've made it all about.
Some people might say
people like it. Yeah. It's good to see. Like football's so sanitised now. Not that fighting's good, but shows your passion.
If you take a sport and you watch ice hockey and you see what happens on the ice hockey, that is mental.
You get to battle.
That is bonkers.
Yeah.
Some of the things I've seen in ice hockey courts are just frightening.
Yeah.
And the referee is getting out of the way, and so the players, and just let them go on with it.
Let them, do the job. Yeah, mad. Don't forget you can watch every National League match this coming weekend live on NLTV or on DAZN. We can get more now. Discuss a busy day in Leagues 1 and 2. We can speak to EFL expert Jack Woodward. Good morning, Jack. I know there was more to it than the fight, but it's got us all talking as usual.
Hello to both of you. Fairly chirpy after an hour less sleep, but I'm sure there'll be a few EFL managers having sleepless nights between now and early May because it's all hotting up.
Jack, can I ask you first? League 2. Obviously, the three top teams all lost. Bromley lost. MK Dons lost. Three of them. And then it's allowed Notts County to get into third place now.
It has. I think actually
Cambridge was the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it probably shows the strength of the division, doesn't it? That can happen.
Yeah.
Bromley had been on a 21-game unbeaten run, a club record for them. They've never tasted third-tier football, and it's getting tantalisingly close. You look at what happened with Walsall last season. They were 12 points clear. They got reined in. I don't think it'll happen. I think Bromley will be okay. But that was a real setback for them, as you rightly allude to. And the team who beat them, Barrow, hadn't won in 9, rock bottom, but it shows it is possible. Bromley have been one up in the game. So real character from Barrow. Danny Rose with the winner. The only thing about Barrow, they will have been on a massive high winning that game. They won't have been quite as pleased to find out the other results because Crawley have gone and beat Gillingham. Colin Kazim Richards, interesting appointment that, isn't it? His first match in charge. He's getting his ideas across, and there was no goal until the 90-minute mark. 2 in stoppage time there. Taylor Richards, Toby Adeyemo with the goals for Crawley. So they won, but also, Newport have gone and beaten Shrewsbury by the only goal, which meant 3 of the bottom 4 have won. Bobby Kamwa, check it out, super strike, really good hit. There were some great goals actually yesterday in League Two. Matt Butcher produced a cracker for Salford, who beat MK Dons. So there were real surprise results, and it's hotting up. It's going to be, with all the permutations, guys. I'm going to need a degree in maths on the last day, because seriously, but you look at the race to go up and the quest for survival, which could be the most interesting part because there's so much on the line, but also looking for a playoff place between 7th and 12th. So that's 6 teams, only 4 points separating them. And obviously 7th is that final playoff spot in League Two. So it's going to be fascinating.
Jack, can I just go back on the Crawley-Gillingham game? Because we're talking teams fighting for their life, which Crawley are, and we've talked about the teams at the top. And there's the also runs, which are Gillingham. And Gillingham have gone 5 defeats on the spin. Gav Ainsworth, who joined the club, a lot of optimism start of the season. They've been in freefall. Yeah,
they've had a tough time. Gareth's already been talking about next season, but what the fans want to see is an improvement this time around. I think they felt that there was a possibility after what happened last year to have a challenge for those playoffs, but it hasn't happened. I was at Colchester Walsall yesterday, which was actually paused with a drone flying over the pitch at one point, which was surreal. But thankfully that got that got dealt with fairly quickly. The ref did a really good job. But you look at someone like Colchester as well, don't you? With Danny Cowley, big hopes for them, having nearly got into the top 7 last year. But it's a tough competitive division. They ended up drawing 1-1 with Walsall, and go back to the Saddlers, who perhaps you might have expected would be scarred a little bit by getting so close last season. But it's going to be really, really exciting at both ends of the table. Harrogate, the only strugglers to lose, and they've been in for a while now. Initially, they were a breath of fresh air, as Bromley have been in getting into the Football League for the first time. But it looks like they're in big trouble.
Jack, who's your team?
My team are Sheffield Wednesday. That's why we don't talk too much about my team on this station, because it has been those halcyon days of the early 90s seem like a different lifetime for the Owls. It has been a really, really hard watch, because you don't want to be a laughing stock. Embarrassment, maybe that's being a bit strong, but a lot of Wednesday fans are, we're happy not to have had a game this weekend, put it that way.
Well, Jack, we appreciate you getting up for us nice and early and losing an hour's sleep as well. EFL expert Jack Woodward, thank you.
Cheers, Jack.
No problem. Thanks very much indeed. Have a good day.
And
Thanks.
you, Jack. All the best. God, he's full of beans this morning, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, look, I mentioned Gillingham there because obviously I started my career there, and watching a club that's had investment in recent years, and they've fallen so short. Yeah. So short. And I don't go down there enough to know what exactly has happened. I always keep an eye over their results and see how they're going, but it's been a really disappointing season.
Has been. Don't forget, talkSPORT 2 is your home of the EFL, and talkSPORT will be bringing you commentary of 7 championship games over the Easter weekend. Commentaries on Good Friday, commentaries on Easter Monday, and all sandwiched between that, all 4 FA Cup quarter-finals. You don't need to go anywhere else. Keep it talkSPORT for all of that action. Time now quickly for this.
The talkSPORT 20k giveaway.
All of that over the Easter break, and you could be up £20,000 come the 9th of April. We are giving you the chance to win 20 grand completely tax-free, all thanks to talkSPORT. Text the word WIN to 83338. That's all you have to do, is text the word WIN to 83338. Text do cost you £2.50 plus your one standard network rate charge, or call this number if you would rather call. It's 0343 418 7260. That's 0343 418 7260. The lines close, as I said, 9th of April, 4 in the afternoon. If we call you, you must answer your phone then to be within that shout of ringing. You don't want to miss it that day. 18 plus, UK residents only. It's a network promotion with all the terms and conditions on talksport.com. Text the word WIN to 83338 now. 20 grand could be yours. Good luck. We can get the latest now quickly from the Japanese Grand Prix. John Jackson. John. Okay. He's gone for a wee. Coming up next, we'll get into today's back pages. It's the weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. Morning.
The talkSPORT 20k giveaway.
We're talking all things Harry Maguire. John is a Man United fan. Jonathan?
How are you doing? You okay?
I'm great. Very well, man. How are you today?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
What's that noise? Have you just opened your wallet?
No, you have to excuse me. It's the police going past in Hereford, which means there's probably a cat stuck in a tree somewhere.
Okay. Well, just be careful.
Oh, yeah, I'm being safe, mate. I'm free and all that.
Good, good. Go on, off you go.
Yeah, talking about Harry Maguire. So, I'm a United fan. Has he let the club down on numerous occasions? Yes, he's a bit of a Marmite player. But with regards to England, I can't think of a time he's ever actually let England down.
Yeah.
Good morning to you. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name is Shebahn Aherne alongside former Marseille striker Tony Cascarino. Some of your headlines this morning. World number one Arena Sabalenka beat Coco Gauff 6-2, 4-6, 6-3 to retain her Miami Open title. What?
No,
I thought you were thinking about saying something. 10-player Liverpool held on for their first Women's Super League win on the road this season with a hard-fought victory over local rivals Everton at Goodison Park. It was the day of derbies in the WSL yesterday. Alessia Russo, first half hat-trick. She's so good. And Moses Atoma reinforced his status as one of the heavyweights boxing's brightest stars with a destructive fifth round stoppage of Jermaine Franklin at Manchester's Co-op Live Arena. What an absolute star. We had no doubt it was going to be his night. And what is next for him? We can only wait and see with bated breath. It's very exciting. Time now for this.
Longing for company, oh Sam, you are a man.
I like the change of words each time.
Keep
It's where I am, aren't it? Sam, you know where I am.
Yeah, yeah. But Shebahn said you are a man.
Oh, right.
Prove it.
You can tell the clocks have gone forward, folks.
Yes.
I am delirious this morning, troops, and I went to bed at 8:30.
Really? Yeah. What time did you go to bed?
8:30.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
But we lost an hour and my head's gone.
I know.
I feel like I'm an hour behind.
It's true. It's true.
brain.
They've given us a 4-hour show today to mark the occasion, haven't they?
That's not right. See, they say to us, right, okay, you're up early. That's lovely. I love it, and I just love this job.
Yeah.
But see, when you're gaining an hour extra when you've lost an hour in sleep, I think we should all invoice a bit more.
It's back to the early breakfast wake-up call for us today, Shebahn.
Morning, Liam.
Good luck with that one, Shebahn.
I know, probably won't happen, but we can try.
Now, I wanted to bring your attention to a few stories on the papers this morning. Lots of talk about Harry Maguire, which we might get to in the next hour, Cassie. I know you've got lots to say on Harry Maguire, but Harry's the fifth wheel is the back page of the Sunday People. A lot of other papers saying the same thing as well. There's also talk about Rolling Stones took all to give City star free boarding pass for plane, but Maguire faces a fight for his ticket. So lots of talk now about who might be creeping into the reckoning for the final England squad when it's named by Thomas Tuchel. But I wanted to just go inside the papers a little bit more and bring you some more on Tiger Woods, who of course is very troubled at the moment, isn't he? And we don't want to sort of poke any fun at Tiger or anything like that for the troubles he's going through. But Oliver Holt, very scathing in his criticism of both Tiger and the golf world.
Not
in his
Oliver
piece.
Holt being scathing.
Can you believe it? In the Mail this morning.
Shocked
Mail
and
on Sunday.
appalled.
He said the hard truth is very. I'm not going to read too much of the detail in this piece because I think it's you read it for yourself kind of thing and judge what you make of his comments. But I will read you this paragraph. The hard truth is that in the career of Tiger Woods, the greatness was overtaken by the sadness some time ago. It is time Woods learned to help himself before it is too late. The picture of that flipped car on the road felt like a metaphor for a gilded life that is turning into an American tragedy. Now, do you think, Cass, that perhaps we maybe need to show a little bit more support for Tiger, but that also he needs to do a bit more to sort of help himself through this period?
Bit of both, Sam. I think it's quite obvious. And the headline on the back of the paper is about how, golfers indulge Tiger Woods and some of his misdemeanors. And, he's in a privileged position because of who he is, what he does, his achievements in the golf world have put him on a platform. That doesn't mean he's immune from doing things that have got him into serious trouble. He's lucky he's not killed himself or killed somebody else, Tiger.
Yeah.
So, he needs to have a real good hard look at himself as well because, he can't carry on. Honestly, someone's going to get killed. It's going to be him or somebody else.
Yeah.
And then there will be no forgiveness, no empathy then because you make your choices.
Absolutely.
When you get in a car.
Yeah.
You make your choices. That is a choice. And the situation he's in now, it's ugly. And actually, Cass and I discussed this over yesterday with having kids at the age we've got them. His Rocco's 10, isn't he? My kids are 6. And how environment and what they're learning at a young age can shape you. Now, if you go back and watch the Tiger documentary, I think it came out in COVID. It must have come out about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's probably, definitely.
Tells you a lot about his upbringing as a 5-6-year-old boy. And it's not normal. It's not normal. He was exposed to things that he should never have been exposed to. He grew up that way, and for elements there you look and go, he's now in a different world completely. He's completely transcended a sport.
Of course.
One of the most famous faces on the planet. You can't take away his talent, but now he has to look, and I think there was a quote, get it together because you could kill someone.
This has to be the line drawn under it.
Yeah, and also he's got kids himself.
Yeah.
So he has to be that role model to his children about his behaviour. And he seriously has got things wrong, Tiger.
And with that in mind, Cass, do you think it potentially jeopardises his role as the next Ryder Cup captain?
I don't know, because the investigation, it will continue and we won't find out the outcome probably. That's,
of course.
And whatever they charge or don't charge him with, because as we know, in American law, it's pretty common that finance plays a big part in the outcome.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one, but he's so well loved in the world of golf and just by fans who've grew up like I have and, admired a guy who plays golf fearlessly. But he lives life like that as well. So I don't know the answer to that, because you never know what the hierarchy in golf are going to think, whether that's a great appointment or not. It seemed a natural procedure for him to do, and he hasn't done it already, has he? He's done President's Cup, hasn't he? I think he's captained the President's Cup.
That's
never,
right.
Obviously never the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. We'll wait and see what happens, but hopefully Tiger can find his way back through this and see himself through on the other side, because Tiger Woods at his best, as you say, completely and utterly transcends the sport, but at the moment a very difficult period for him indeed. Let's lighten up a little bit. We're talking about Cole Palmer now. I want to get your take on this, both of you. Palm Springs, Chelsea transfer exclusive, back page of the Sun this morning. Cole Palmer is primed to leave Chelsea this summer after becoming increasingly disillusioned with life at Stamford Bridge. Man United, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are all interested in the £150 million rated England playmaker. Palmer, 23, is understood to be frustrated by a change in Chelsea tactics, which he feels has denied him space on the pitch. Now, be that as it may, Cass and Shebahn, do you think that Chelsea is a good place at the moment for young players to nurture their talent?
Well, it's a conveyor belt, isn't it? And it feels like it's just this product of just churning, get one in, get one out, balancing the books, keeping out of trouble financially, which they've obviously had issues with. But they've not seen great evidence of what's happening on the pitch of a successful side. And if Cole Palmer wants to be successful, he has to question the project at Chelsea, because it doesn't look like it's going to be very time soon. And also you can add in Fernandez.
Yeah,
Enzo Fernandez
he's
as
linked
well.
away, isn't he?
Looks like he might go this summer.
You're going to lose your stars if you don't win things. You will.
Yeah.
And also, if you're seen as not taking yourself seriously as a club, because I think that's a fear with Chelsea fans at the moment, isn't it, Shebahn? That maybe because they're doing so much business in and out with players and trying to balance books and things, that perhaps they're not focusing enough on getting, like, for example, the experienced players in that are going to take them to the next level.
Yeah, also, with absolutely no disrespect to Liam Rossini, I don't know if he's the guy that are going to guide this team to a Premier League title win in a season or 2 seasons from now. Whereas I think had Enzo Maresca stayed, maybe they'd be in a different situation, a different light next season. And yeah, some of these stars being linked away from the club is a massive problem for them.
You would say, though, the one that they really can't afford to lose and the one that you could build around is Cole Palmer, because obviously they're all long-term contracts, but he is the type of player that could be there for the long term if they were just to look after him.
Exactly that. 81089, you can let us know your thoughts. Sam Stevens, thank you very much. A look at today's back pages. We're going to get to the latest now, the Japanese Grand Prix. Here's John Jackson. Morning, John.
Hey, Shebahn, sorry about before. I think my connection was taking a pit stop, and it's kind of where, it's kind of where we are with the race at the moment. We're currently on lap 25 of 53. It's a safety car at the moment. Kimi Antonelli is leading the race ahead of Oscar Piastri. Of course, Antonelli having a terrible start with Oscar Piastri taking the lead, and it's kind of bad luck for Mercedes, really, because it was a McLaren that went early with their pit stops to try and get a jump on the others. They went onto the hard tyres as the pioneers, and then just as the Mercedes took pit stops, as George Russell came in, the safety car came out where everyone can kind of get a free pit stop. So bad luck for them, but it looks like it's going to be good for Antonelli. He's back into the lead. Of course, he won the last race. He became the second youngest winner in Formula One history. Do you know the youngest winner in Formula One history?
Oh. No.
Max Verstappen, of course. Max Verstappen. And if you
Obviously.
could do anything close to what Max Verstappen does, then it's looking pretty good for you. So at the moment, Antonelli leads by a couple of seconds, but they are under safety car ahead of Oscar Piastri with George Russell in third.
All right, John Jackson back with us with the F1 latest across the show. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter, working with you. On the way, our top 5 sporting moments and people of the week.
Every Thursday we'll be joining the studio by rapper and Spurs fan AJ Tracy. How are you?
How you doing, fella? Not too bad.
Good. Now, we spoke to you on the phone before. I've never met you, right?
You supposed to be on the phone for? Yeah.
Okay. Do I call you AJ, Trace?
You call me whatever you want to call me.
Yeah, but what do your pals call you?
AJ. Age.
Yeah. Okay.
Age.
Nice to meet you, Age.
If we've had a beer, it's Age.
Age, okay.
Yeah,
We should do that on Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday's a great night to go out.
I heard the fridge is stocked over here. I might be here for...
Forget the food. We'll go across the road for a few. Can I ask what AJ stands for?
AJ, it's a multitude of things, but it's
Ever fancied having a beer in the stands while watching your team at the Emirates? Well, this season you actually can, and not just there. You can do it at Anfield, Goodison Park, Stamford Bridge and Old Trafford too. But hold on, I hear you cry. Isn't drinking alcohol in the stands at Premier League games illegal? You're right, for the men's game it still is, but the Women's Super League is doing something different. And here's how we got there. Back in the 1980s, football had a serious image problem. The sport was plagued by violence, pitch invasions and beer-fuelled chaos. From fan riots at the 1980 Scottish Cup final to the Heysel disaster years later, things were unsafe and the consequences were disastrous. Then in 1985, Margaret Thatcher's government stepped in. They introduced the Sporting Events Control of Alcohol Act, banning alcohol in view of the pitch across England and Wales. Since then, many fans and clubs have called for the law to be relaxed, especially since other sports don't face the same restrictions. If you're popping down to watch the Red Roses roar at Twickenham, feel free to grab a pint on the way to your seat. Wandering down to Lord's to catch some boundary bashing? Fill your boots with G&Ts. But if you were hoping to cheers your club's promotion to the Premier League with a Prosecco in hand from pitchside, sorry, it'll have to be tea or Bovril. In 2021, it looked like things might finally change. The government commissioned the Crouch Report, a fan-led review into football governance. One recommendation was to allow League Two and National League clubs to lift the alcohol ban to boost matchday revenue. But nothing came of it. Authorities still weren't convinced that fans could be trusted. And then in January 2025, something did change. The Women's Championship, now called the WSL2, launched a trial allowing fans to drink in the stands. The reasoning? Well, fans at women's matches tend to behave differently. Less aggression, more family-friendly vibes. Now, the women's game is raising the bar, literally. Select WSL and WSL2 stadiums are allowing fans to drink alcohol in view of the pitch. It's been a landmark move, showing growing trust in fans and recognising that women's football is building its own culture. So could the men's game be the next to leave the 1980s behind? Well, maybe, if fans can prove they can handle a pint without pitching it at someone. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Until then, it's Bovril all around. Cheers to that. Good morning, it's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name is Shebahn Aherne, alongside former Millwall striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
So Moses Atoma continues to deliver after defeating Jermaine Franklin in Manchester. Here's how the winning moment sounded live on talkSPORT.
Oh, big up! He's gone! He has now! He was almost knocked unconscious on his feet by a massive left uppercut, then a right hand, and now Moses Atoma bows to his crowd.
What is next for this guy? Is he ready to tackle the greats of the heavyweight game? Seems like it. We'll be getting boxing pundit Ruth Raper's thoughts later on in the show. Scotland suffered a 1-0 defeat against Japan at Hampden Park in the first World Cup warm-up last night. Boss Steve Clarke said he was surprised his pit players were booed off.
Disappointed me, I have to be honest. It's just the modern way. It seems to be now, if you lose a game you get booed, so you just got to deal with it.
Ben White got it midweek, didn't he, from the England fans, Scotland fans yesterday, booing the team. Is it really ever okay for fans to boo their players? Is this just the modern game, as Steve Clarke says? And yesterday, the great Sean Dyche was here in talkSPORT Towers doing a show alongside Johnny Owen, and after his links to the Spurs job, he told a funny story about whether he'd been approached for it yet.
This guy goes, oh, you meant to be in talks with Spurs tonight. No, well, I'm standing next to you having a pint of Guinness. So I said, it's unlikely. I said, at least you work for Spurs and they're in the Seven Stars pub having a pint of Guinness. I said, it's highly unlikely.
Is he the right man to take Spurs away from the relegation troubles? 03717 223344 81089. You can share your thoughts on that. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Good morning. It was such a lovely day yesterday. It stayed sunny in St Albans.
Yeah.
Do you know what we did?
Go on.
We went to have a little round of golf.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What? Have you got like a 9-hole course close to you? Or
Well, there's a
Richmond
little
Park?
par 3, and we took the kids, and me and the kids went round a buggy and just watched Jamie.
Yeah.
And then the kids were ball hunting, and I was punting. And it was.
See, that's what happens when you live in these elite areas, where you have these 9-hole courses.
Who said we were in an elite area? Who said that?
So what is St Albans then?
What is St Albans?
I know the area quite well.
It's a Roman town.
Affluent is the word.
Roman town. What's your problem?
It's not far from
Leicester the ends over there. And by the way, it's a city because it's got a cathedral. So have some of that. That's my one bit of knowledge about St Albans. I do love it there, to be fair.
It is lovely, yeah.
Nice.
I used to like that part. Harpenden as well is nice. Just next door to Luton.
Yeah. I've
A lot of
loads
TV
friends
people in Harpenden.
Yeah, you see them about, don't you? You see them about St Albans as well.
Yeah.
There's so-and-so. There's so-and-so over there. Let's talk about how to win the World Cup, because the new episode of the latest podcast, How to Win the World Cup, is now available for you. We've got Matt Ford, Alex Brooker speaking to former England skipper Stuart Pearce, all about defenders ahead of the World Cup this summer, and having a strong defence will always be more important than having a strong attack. Stuart explains why winning a game 1-0 will always feel sweeter than a 5-0 hammering.
Nigel Clough's at Mansfield managing, so if they win 1-0 away, I'd rather win 1-0 than 5-0. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because the home team think they've got a chance of getting something out of the game, and you keep it to 0. It's just so rewarding. If you're going to win at Manchester United away, chances are you're winning 1-0. You know, the really glory teams in their pomp, you ain't going to go and beat them 3 or 4. So you've got to beat them 1-0. To do that, you've got to keep a clean sheet. So every time he wins 1-0 away, you know what I mean? Brings a smile to my face, mate. You know what I mean? Drop him a text.
Like 1-0 was always the classic Arsenal score.
Yeah, it was, and that's like what a lot of Arsenal's success was built on just keeping clean sheets. And even Arteta, like when he came in, a lot of the players that he bought early on was defenders.
Do you agree with that, Cass?
Well, it's
I understand Pierce's satisfaction with that.
Yeah, I mean, there is great pleasure of when, like Stuart said, you go to the big opposition in the league. You're not going to go there and, you know, we know we've seen in recent years, Manchester United have not been that, but there is something about keeping a clean sheet as a team as well. You know, and you can defend not only from the back players, but all over the pitch, that you defend as a team, because everybody's required now to defend when you haven't got the ball.
Well, England have Japan in a friendly on Tuesday. There's lots of change now to the side. We'll go through them all with you in more detail soon. But the papers are suggesting this morning that Harry Maguire, Manchester United, is the 5th choice centre-back for Thomas Tuchel going to the World Cup. Those above him to be Mark Guéhi, John Stones, Ezri Konsa and Trevor Chalobah.
Yeah. Because
of Chalobah's mobility. Do you agree with that?
Well, I'll try and put some perspective on it, because Harry's not replied or not said anything.
Yeah.
And I'd also say you could have maybe even say 6th, because Dan Burn could be in front of Harry as well. Yeah? Right. Dan Burn could be, you know, if you look at recent squads. The one thing I would say is at Manchester United, under Ten Hag and under Ruben Amorim, he's been 5th choice at times, which he has. He was the 5th choice for Ten Hag in the FA Cup final. He was 5th choice, certainly, when they played a back 3. And you could put Lindelof, De Ligt, Martinez, Lenny Euro, all in front of him. Yeah. And do you know what Harry done every time? He's won his place back.
Yeah.
So fair credit to Harry Maguire, because he might be 5th choice of England, but if he does take him, he could end up playing, because that's the inspiration. Because what you can't say is, you know, if you take the standout feature of Friday night was Harry's performance. And I think if you read the words, what obviously Thomas Tuchel said afterwards was very praising about all the things he done well, the way he carried the ball and the way he was a leader, and the amount of balls he won in aerially. And yes, there'll be concerns, because he talks about having pace behind him. You know, John Stones is in that argument of being in front of Harry as well. But I wouldn't take it if I was Harry, and I'm sure he won't. I just think I'll do what I did at Man United. I'll keep my head down, and somewhere along the line I'll get my opportunity. And there we are, where he looked absolutely out the door at Manchester United. This year now we're talking that they've agreed to have an extra year with a year option on his contract. So that tells you the character of Harry Maguire. So if I was Harry, I wouldn't be too, you know, upset by it or whatever he's managing. Well, that's the reality. That's where I am now.
Yeah, don't underestimate him, that's for sure. England-Japan live on talkSPORT Tuesday evening. Will England do better than Scotland? We were beaten 1-0 by them last night. More on that to come on the show. And also last night, London's Brunel University turned into a powerhouse of ancient tradition as England hosted its first major sumo event of the year. The university has become a hub for the sport, hosting events like Southern Regions Invitational and the English Sumo Nationals at the Deep Sumo Club. Pleased to say, three-time international gold medalist and founder of Deep Sumo Club, Mandeep Singh Kohli, is with us again this morning. Mandeep, very good to see you. How are you keeping?
Hi, Shebahn. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Man, how are you? You okay?
Very well, sir. How are you?
Yes. All good. All good. International weekend's always a bit tricky. But let's talk about, sumo. Yeah?
What would you like to know about sumo today?
Everything, because I'm a learner. I don't know a lot. All I know is there's these big guys that literally, can throw each other out of this ring or whatever it's called. But I want to know, because obviously it's a big weekend for sumo.
Yes, it was a fantastic spectacle yesterday, and hopefully you can join us and cover the next one. It was the English Sumo Nationals, as was mentioned, and this was the first major tournament in England this year. Very well attended from spectators to athletes, over 12 clubs in attendance, over 42 wrestlers, including women. And to your point about it just being about the larger athletes, actually there are different weight classes.
Yeah.
And so there were many in lighter weight divisions as well as those middle and heavyweights as well.
And how many more sumos are we seeing join in the sport now, Mandeep? Because I remember we spoke to you, I want to say that was last year, when all the sumos had come into London and they were trending all over social media because of the sheer size and stature these athletes have. And I mean, everyone was just like, jaw was on the floor watching them walk by. Have they increased the amount of numbers coming into the sport?
Definitely. And the Grand Sumo tournament or exhibition that happened at the Royal Albert Hall last October has definitely played a part in that. It's almost like seeing these large ballerinas, people who are so big in size and stature, but so light on their feet in this match in this limited space, 15-foot diameter circle, in an explosive contest that lasts just 10 seconds. So it's attracting many inquiries, many people, hence the opening of new clubs. And it's just a fantastic sport, but something that we can describe as much as we want, something you have to go and see, something you have to go and experience.
So Mandy, who would be exciting, men or women now, that have evolved in the last few years in the sport?
Internationally, it's in over 80 countries. So all of those countries are really something to enjoy seeing in terms of their growth. But here, it's a real mixed bag between men and women, light and heavyweights. But even kids, there is a large demand for kids, and that's something that the National Federation is working on catering to this year itself. But currently, the main focus, if I'm frank, is adults.
Yeah.
But it's a real spread across the weight classes. So it shouldn't put anyone off that they're too slim or too large. There is a place for you. And even if there are other challenges, we can work around them. I have someone in my club who's partially sighted. So very much like you see in other sports, it's basically, what I'm saying is inclusive.
Yeah, well, that sounds lovely. Mandeep, listen, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. You calm me down because I've been all over the gaff this morning. Your voice is just so relaxing and chilled. So
yes,
thank you for getting up and spending the time with us this morning, Mandeep.
Not at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Mandeep Singh Kohli there, and all the work that he does for Deep Sumo Club. Get involved. I mean, it's one of those sports now, I guess. Youngsters, I remember being young and growing up and seeing sumo wrestlers and doing it with my sisters. Like we'd almost put on like the nappies and like, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, they are, like you said, it's really strange watching a sport that can literally last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And there's so much effort and desire. I mean, look, their regime or their training and their diets, what they must eat to get such strength. is pretty amazing. But I didn't. I was going to ask him, is there any future stars that you're seeing coming? Because along the way, there's always someone that grabs the spot.
Yeah, it'd be great to have there was a young lad actually recently who was on talkSPORT Breakfast. Went to join the sport as well, but yeah, it's a fascinating one altogether. Like we say, the competition was here in London yesterday, and it's on the rise. The UK surged by nearly 40% in participation recently. Coming up for you next, we'll get into today's front pages. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more.
Stefan, the cost of missing out on the Champions League. If I throw four at you here, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United or Newcastle, missing out in Champions League, who would feel it most?
Yeah, I think Newcastle would definitely feel it the most, just because the base they're coming off is that much smaller. So therefore the proportion that's associated with Champions League football is that much bigger. And they probably did something like £55 million of UEFA money. And then on top of that, obviously had the 5 home games on top, which are, or 6, probably 6 actually, when you, I think they had a playoff. So
Weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Celtic striker Tony Cascarino. We need to book in our ABBA brunch.
Yes, definitely.
See, if we book it and you don't turn up, I will come for you.
Why would I not turn up?
Because ABBA
you
brunch.
sound I'm unreliable.
Well, no, it's just you probably. Oh, I've got to go to a game today. I'm writing an article. Come on, just write an article about the ABBA.
It killed me. I've got to go to a game today.
Do you give me a hard time?
No time for play.
You've got to go. I said, we have to do an ABBA brunch.
Oh, yeah.
And I've gone, yeah, okay. She went, you'd probably go, I'm watching a game today.
Yeah, it's true.
Got to go
It's true.
game. Reason we're playing ABBA, ABBA, ABBA is because the headline sale of the century is in the papers today. The England jersey goalie Gordon Banks wore to defy Brazil's Pelé, with a save of the century is going under the hammer. It's expected to fetch between £200,000 and £300,000. I actually thought it'd be more.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think they'll go way more higher than that.
Yeah. Also up for grabs is the goalkeeper's 1966 World Cup winners medal.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd want to keep that.
I think so too. Unless, well, yeah.
Well, obviously Gordon's not alive anymore. But I don't know. I'd want to keep that.
How much have you spent on sport memorabilia?
Nothing.
Not okay.
I don't buy it.
Get it?
No, I don't. I've got my own memorabilia, but I don't buy it.
Have you got a shirt of anyone that you used to?
No, I've swapped shirts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I have a swap shirt.
Who's got your shirt? What famous player has got a shirt of Tony Cascarino from over the years?
Frank Rijkaard would have got my shirt.
That's cool.
Yeah. Who did we play in? I'm got to go back to 1990. I think I swapped with Terry Butcher when we played England.
Nice.
I think it was Terry. Again, but I lost my shirts. You know, say lost. They got stolen at the airport.
Oh.
I remember. I told that story.
Yeah. Awful.
Yeah. Coca-Cola were the sponsors at the time, and when we put our bags on, and there was a few players. It wasn't just me. There was other players who had their shirts stolen, and I had Vialli was the biggest one.
Yeah, I remember
for me.
saying this.
I mean,
Terrible.
Rijkaard and Vialli.
That's terrible.
Gianluca Vialli, I lost his shirt, which was a real gutter because I was a big fan of his as a player.
Sure.
I was lucky enough to meet him because of the connection with Chelsea, and a great man. Really great man.
You guys need to watch that King of Collectibles on Netflix. Oh my God, some of the memorabilia and the money. That
it's crazy. I mean, the Steve Hodges, the outrageous one, isn't it? You know what he got for Maradona, the shirt swapping. I think, like Shebahn said, 200 or 300 grand. I can see it going way higher.
Way higher than that. Okay, interesting stuff. It's time now for this.
Longing for
Again.
Not doing it twice, are you? Sam,
I appreciate hearing it again.
do you like ham? There we go. We've changed it up ever so slightly.
By the way, I saw you appear on a podcast this week. You just turned up randomly. I saw you were chatting to Graham Lasso and
Graham and
Baker.
Charlie Baker.
Yeah. What did you do that? You do these little things in your.
No, I got asked to, and I know Graham from years ago, and obviously Charlie through talkSPORT, and they asked me one day, and I was in central London. And I said I'll come in, and I
Can't. I've got to write an article.
Yeah, don't worry about us, Cass.
Sorry, Cass. No. You've got more to.
Anyway,
let's talk nonsense, shall we, from
Nonsense.
the papers. High rollers are paying £1,380 for posh grub on Grand National Day. Aintree will also be offering a sushi afternoon tea and unlimited booze, while Moneybags racegoers will get their own private bookie for the day next month, for the big day. Organisers said introducing Longmer, where the thrill of the racetrack meets the grace of the dragon, and where Liverpool's vibrant heritage converges with the finest flavours of Asia, inspired by the mythical Longmer creature born from the power of the horse and the wisdom of the dragon. Our brand new restaurant embodies harmony, prosperity, and the union of two worlds. This is a bit of you, Shebahn.
Oh, yeah.
I can see you indulging in a bit of £1,380 posh grub.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. In fairness, I've just ordered a McDonald's, so we do.
True.
We do choose when.
Very highbrow.
I do love good food. I'm a foodie. Self-confessed, I would like to save and then spend on good food to know that flavour's been.
I remember on our way back from Germany, Shebahn and I went to. We were at the airport,
Right.
and we were just trying to decide on where to eat, and I chose a place, and she was like, "No, I'm going to go somewhere else." And
Yeah.
she went to a posh place, and she went and had a proper.
It was an airport, so it wasn't posh.
Sorry?
It wasn't posh.
No,
it was
not
an
posh.
airport.
Yeah, true.
I think what had you gone for again? I remember thinking I can't eat whatever again.
Yeah, it was like some burger again or some boring.
Yeah, I can't have a sausage. I can't have another
Yeah, it was.
bratwurst. No offense, Germany. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, bratwurst. Yeah.
So I had something completely different. I think I appreciate it.
Do you like sushi, Cass?
Yeah, don't mind it.
Do you?
Yeah.
What was your first experience of sushi?
Oh, 20 years ago, probably early 2000s.
Really?
Yeah.
It feels like it's sort of one of those things that, I don't know whether it's been around in this country that long, is it? I suppose it has been.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember having sushi when I was younger. I never had it.
Yeah, it's become more popular, but there have been sushi restaurants for years in London.
Well, I suppose so, yeah.
Remember the rise of the avocado in this country?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everyone's eating avocado. But sushi, I mean, I didn't eat it in Glasgow.
No.
I never would have gone and got sushi.
Can you imagine if you asked for sushi in Glasgow?
What's the one? Is it Yo Sushi?
Yo Sushi,
That is a sushi place I would say in Glasgow. Now I would say it's very different. Very bougie now in Glasgow. but only until I moved to London had I even really ever tried sushi.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, it's nice.
I get that point.
Yeah.
I do love it.
Now let's talk about this. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Not as far as I know. No. Why?
No, well, because there's a piece in the paper here. Motown-loving ghosts that show up when soul music plays are haunting a boozer. Obviously got interest in music. The Lattice house is plagued by spooky goings-on. Landlord Perry Sturge said there are loads of spirits living there, and they show up when he plays soul music. In January, apparently, CCTV footage emerged showing a full glass of beer toppling onto the floor with nobody nearby.
No.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? He had admitted that some of the customers were left shaken by the experience.
Oh,
I never seen anything super.
No, I tell you what, I had a weird thing. My missus is a bit witchy.
Oh yeah.
As in things.
I wouldn't tell her
happen.
that.
No,
Oh, see what you mean.
well, we've had this conversation. We went to visit this house we were looking to, buy a few years back, and Jo had her phone, and she took a picture of herself in the mirror, and in the mirror picture there was a slight face.
No.
And the house was meant to have been haunted.
Oh, see?
Really?
And I was like, I'm not having that. Literally. But there's an image of her face in the mirror.
Ask Joe to find that picture for us. I mean,
that is creepy.
It's creepy.
Big believer, of course. I mean, I feel I've had 2 experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I remember telling my dad about it, and Dad going, that's strange. And it stuck with me. And then my mum, who's like a real no-nonsense woman, very straight to the point, doesn't beat about the bush. She's had experiences, and I'm thinking, well, if Mum has felt it or experienced that, then it must be.
You're going to tell us the experience, or can't you?
Do you want to creep you out?
Oh, well.
Is it that creepy? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For me, it was like an experience where I thought that one was scary. Sorry, actually, 2 of them were quite scary. But actually, funnily enough, the hotel I was at the time was in Ennis in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Was it called the Auburn Lodge? And I'm pretty sure there was rumours around that area was haunted, and it was in the Auburn Lodge.
Yeah.
I was there for an Irish dancing competition, and I remember thinking that was a ghost. There was a ghost in the room. Like, it was really, really weird, and it scared the life out of me. And that's when, apparently a lot of these experiences can be pleasant experiences, but my ones weren't. I'm still scared of it.
Well, it says one woman claimed to have felt someone's hands on her back waking the next morning.
Well, that
covered
sounds
in
nice.
bruises.
Oh, that's not weird. Okay.
I know. See,
All
very
right.
suspicious. Very suspicious.
You ghosts,
Stay clear of that
Sam?
boozer.
You
I've never
believe it?
seen one. I've always been kind of one of these. No, nonsense. Don't rubbish. Until you see one, you sort of think. But you just hear a lot of these stories.
Yeah.
You do. You hear a lot of people who say,
And it's
"I
when-
can tell you that I've not only seen one, but I've sort of seen it regularly."
You know when like no nonsense people tell you they've had
Yeah,
an experience,
right.
or people you love dearly who felt like they've been. You go, oh, there must be something. Anyway, speaking of ghostly, John Jackson here with the latest in the Japanese Grand Prix. Johnny boy.
I won't take that personally. I don't feel like I'm a ghost, but
You should.
I'm struggling with that. One hour less. Kimi Antonelli, though, is not struggling as it stands with 9 laps to go in the Japanese Grand Prix. He currently has an 11.9 second lead over Oscar Piastri ahead of the Charles Leclerc and pairing. Actually, to be fair, Lewis Hamilton's just had an absolute stinker. He was third. Third. He's had his teammate Charles Leclerc whiz past him on the first corner, and then on the next lap, he had his old teammate George Russell whiz past him on the first corner, so exactly the same place. So Lewis Hamilton was doing all right up in third. He's now in fifth. So it's Kimi Antonelli leading by now over 12 seconds to Oscar Piastri, with Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari third, with George Russell fourth. And obviously, if Kimi Antonelli wins this, that'll be 2 race wins from his last 2 races. We've got 8 laps to go in the Japanese Grand Prix.
Lovely stuff, John Jackson. I meant it because you look so pale.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm struggling not to take this personally, but it's fine.
It's just
I
the
think
hour
we're
less
friends
sleep.
still. I think we're friends.
I still love you so
Yes.
much. That's why I've said it. It's a term of endearment. Love you. Coming up next on the Weekend Sports Breakfast, we'll get the latest from the Women's Super League, and we'll discuss what is a very, very hot Scottish title race.
You played in Korea and Japan, didn't you? World Cup in 2002. Did you find it hard, the weather conditions to play in?
They are tough, and in South Africa as well. We played a game, and then the altitude, the ball moves different and everything. And if you're not used to it, as we know, we all love to go on holiday in the summer, but playing football, running around in that heat and that weather, it takes its toll at the time, and we're just not a nation that's used to that. So that's one of the major things I look at when it comes to that tournament being over there.
What about strikers? We know Harry Kane's going to go, but if you looked at the Euros, he was injured, wasn't he? And Gareth Southgate was still playing him. Maybe he didn't trust other strikers in the squad. What do you think of tonight? Do you think Solanke and Calvert-Lewin have to put in a performance?
I think it's their chance of breaking in, isn't it? It's their chance of solidifying themselves in that talk of being the one to take over, because
Cindy.
Cindy. Is it Lopper or Lauper?
Oh, does it matter?
It does matter, I would imagine.
Well,
because she's joining us next. Get breakfast.
Well, I always reference when Jack Charlton, I mention him way too often, but we'd be in team talks and he'd say one of the opposition's players.
Yeah.
And if you questioned him, he'd go, "What the bloody hell's it matter? You know what I'm talking about?" He'd literally shout at you. So you say, we played Wales and they had Malcolm Allen and he read off the script because they do the surname first. And he said, Alan Malcolm. Alan Malcolm's playing up front for them, right? Talking about playing Wales. Jack, it's Malcolm Allen. And he went, Malcolm Allen? Who's he play for? And I went, Millwall. He went, well, it must be crap if he plays for Millwall. And I went, well, I played for Millwall, Jack. And that was Jack all over. Yeah. You know, you had that line, that little cut, line that he would just come out with. Sometimes it just made me laugh. And so I always think with names, well, look, people get it wrong. Sometimes names are not easy, are they? The amount of times you heard commentators say a name and then a month later they're pronouncing it differently.
Yeah.
Because they
it's like-
phoned the embassy.
Well, this the thing with this job. 9 times out of 10, you need to get the names right.
Yes, of course you do. But you, come on, let's.
Some people are like real sticklers about it.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm like, you've just called me Siobhan. Check yourself. Okay.
Do you know? But it's in it. Honestly, Shebahn, so I know some people have literally contacted embassies in different countries to get the exact pronunciation
Really?
that no one has said for like 5 years.
There's an app called, I think it's Forvo. Forvo gives you the pronunciation.
Yeah.
That I was told to get a number of years ago, actually, by somebody who was a stickler for names.
Yeah.
And
I get it
I get
to
it.
a
I get
degree.
it. Yeah.
But let's not go too far on it.
It is Shebahn Aherne and Tam Cascarino with you this morning.
Antoine.
Some of your headlines, by the way. Viviana Miedema's double helped to Manchester City edge closer to the WSL title with a comfortable derby win over neighbours Manchester United. Super League leaders Wigan Warriors suffered a shock home loss to bottom side Huddersfield Giants, ending their 100% start to the season. And former Northern Ireland midfielder Chris Brunt has questioned the wisdom of UEFA for making Michael and Neil's side play Wales in a complete dead rubber friendly on Tuesday. We were discussing that earlier on in the show. You know, these international friendlies at the moment, what are we learning from them? Nothing much so far. England, they'll have Japan on Tuesday night, and that's going to be live for you here on talkSPORT. Scotland defeated by them 1-0 last night at Hampden. And speaking of Scotland, the Scottish title race is a thriller. 5 points separating the top three. Surprise leaders Hearts have been doing it all season. They've got the 3-point cushion over Rangers following the latest round of matches. Hearts and Rangers both secured vital wins last weekend. Defending champions Celtic slipped to third place after a damaging 2-0 defeat at Dundee United. That was a hard watch. Former Celtic striker Mark McGee was on White and Jordan last week and said Celtic's off-field issues have caused them huge problems this season.
I think that it was just going wrong. There wasn't authority there. I even feel it at the moment a little bit, that not with Martin, of course, because Martin has a huge amount of authority, but up to that point I felt as if there was no leadership. There's not at the top, things like, for instance, you go to the club and you go in the boardroom. It used to have to kind of, you wouldn't, do you think, in the boardroom? You know what I mean? It's a kind of a bit like sacrosanct,
Yeah.
Now everybody and their brothers in there, and it just represents a kind of change of kind of mentality. I know it sounds petty, but it's just different.
Former Celtic striker Mark McGee on White and Jordan earlier on in the week. Celtic podcaster John Paul Dykes is with us now this morning. Good morning, John. Good to see you. It's been a magnificent title race, and what I've enjoyed living down here is the amount of people who are talking about it as well.
Massively, and as we're talking about names, my name's Paul John Dykes, but I won't hold it against you.
Brilliant.
Because you did that on purpose, didn't you? Because that's what we're chatting about.
It's because I've had the hour less sleep, Paul. I'm sorry. And John Paul is the Celtic name.
Of course it is. I know, and I've been called
John.
a lot worse this season.
Paul,
a lot
I'm sorry.
Okay, Paul, tell us about, would you agree with what we just heard there? Listening to an ex-player, McGee, represented Celtic and Scotland, and talking about the sort of turbulence off the field for Celtic has cost them so dearly?
Absolutely. And what Matt McGee's saying there, in terms of being invited into the boardroom, I'm certainly not welcome this season, because we've been calling the board out all season and for a number of seasons now, Tony. So there's a huge amount of issues off the field. We're talking recruitment, scouting and recruitment, head of departments, etc., being sacked and not being replaced. Changing the manager. This is a fourth managerial tenure of one season. Complete dysfunction, Tony, off the park. I mean, I know what the club was like when you were up here, and it's not as bad financially, but in terms of that connection between the board, the club and the fans, it's completely broken at the moment.
Yeah, and that's incredible, because if you think of how successful Celtic have been in Scotland over the last decade or so, you've been so dominant. And when I joined back in the 91 sort of time, Rangers were being dominant. It was like catch-up time. But Celtic have got themselves in this pickle for more stuff off the field than we had to deal with.
Without a doubt, if you look at the beginning of this season, we had a great opportunity. Last season, we almost won the treble. We progressed to a playoff, that famous night against Bayern Munich. And at that point, we had £77 million in the bank. And you think, right, let's push on. Let's push it, the envelope and give Brendan Rodgers what he needs. Everybody knew what he needed. We went into the transfer window and we failed. We absolutely failed in the transfer window. In January, there was an opportunity to try and address that issue, and we didn't spend a single penny. We've never been richer, Tony. We've never bought a player in January. And when you look at that squad, Shebahn said there, Dundee United, it was such a bad game, such a poor performance. But if you look at Brendan Rodgers and Martin O'Neill this season, they are the most successful Celtic managers of this century. If they can't get a tune out of this squad, it shows you there's a wider issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well. It's not only Rangers now being ahead of us in the table despite their catastrophic season as well. Paul, the fact that Hearts are at the top, I mean, it's we've never seen anything like this before. Is that a good thing for Scotland, or as a Celtic fan, are you just hating every minute of it?
When you look at a team like Hearts, for many, many years, we've been talking about the two capital clubs underachieving. You've got two big support bases there, great history in both clubs, but complete underachievers, let's be honest. And the last time Hearts were pushing was at 40 years ago, 1986, where Celtic won it on the last day at Love Street on goal difference. So in that respect, as you said, more people are looking at Scottish football saying, actually, this is quite an interesting season. But Celtic have not performed. It's not just because Hearts have been so good. We've also come down several levels as well. But when you look at Hearts and what they've done, they have actually focused on their own deficiencies and they've got a lot of them sorted out. And very, very quickly, they've started challenging.
Yeah, see, Paul, also you can compound it with Hearts and having someone like Tony Bloom come in and do exactly what you would expect Celtic to do, is go out and spend some of their money, that he will back Hearts undoubtedly.
He's been very, very cute. And you know this, Tony, Hearts were the fourth or fifth team in Scotland that Tony Bloom approached. That shows you that there was a missed opportunity by several clubs before he went to Hearts. And what he's done is he's tapped into data analysis. Celtic, with all their wealth and all their success, we still haven't mastered the data analysis. When we removed the football doctor, when the football doctor was struck off in January, he took his analytics system with him. So when Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney come into the football club, we had no data analysis to speak of. We were starting from scratch. That's not good enough for a club like Celtic.
No, definitely not.
It's not. And we should always be kicking on. I mean, you go back to last May, in that game against Bayern Munich, the fall-off has been unbelievable, Paul. It really has. And how does it turn around from here? I mean, do you think they can win the league?
They can, but the only reason they will is Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill, who I know has been a regular contributor on here for a long time. If it comes down to metal, it comes down to a winning mentality. Martin O'Neill, for me, if you put him up against Danny Roll and you put him up against Derek McInnes, who have done brilliantly this season for Rangers and Hearts, I think there would only be one winner. But as I say, there's just such a lack of quality. Where we go from now, it's not just on the park. It's what Tony was saying there. We need to look at the boardroom. We need to look at the scouting and recruitment. We need to look at a number of different things. The relationship with fans has broken down this season, and that all has to be repaired in one pre-season.
Yeah, it amazes me because Celtic and Rangers, amazing support. As good as anything. I've played for some really big clubs, been fortunate, but the support in Glasgow for them two teams is, you should always be punching up, the pair of you, looking to outdo each other. And that's clearly not been the case this season.
Well, what's happened, Tony, as you know, the ultra movement, ultra culture is massive in European football, world football, and we've closed our ultras out. They've been banned for about 30 games now. Now, they add the colour, the noise, the atmosphere, and they give that energy to the players on the park. You can see it in the away games. We came back from 2-0 down against Kelly. We win 3-2. That doesn't happen without the fans behind the goal. But they've been banned for 30 games. They're not getting back in.
Can I just ask, how many does that involve of that particular group? How many fans?
There's a couple of hundred members, Tony, but there's a wider element of that North Curve section. So you're talking that entire section get involved in the tifos and the singing and the pyro and everything else that comes with it. And we've missed that massively. Other managers have commented on it being a disadvantage to Celtic.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very weird time. Paul, listen, you know your stuff. Jamie O'Hara's getting married soon. Are you getting invited to the wedding?
I'm waiting on that invite. I would love to attend, yes.
That broke the internet that day. Paul, thank you so much for your time this morning, for giving the Celtic aspect of things. We appreciate it.
A pleasure,
Cheers,
anytime.
Paul.
Thank
All the
you.
best.
Thanks, Tony.
Speak to
Thank
See you
you.
again soon.
Do you know that happened at PSG,
Yeah.
where PSG banned, I think, about 13,000, and I think it was the Book Boulogne boys they were
Yeah.
called at PSG. They banned them, and they've never been back since.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Was it
that.
PSG when they banned the Ultras? The Ultras then went to the women's team?
Well, they changed it. There's been other groups that have developed from there.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously the club want to sort of distance themselves for certain groups. You know,
I mean, the atmosphere that they bring at Celtic Park is it's actually
it's vital.
It's pretty. It scares you a wee bit. You know, they can really give that to the opposition, give them the fear. That was Paul John Dykes there, Celtic podcaster, absolutely flying at the minute, and lots to discuss. Don't worry. In the next section of the show, we're going to get the Rangers and Hearts aspect of things as well. We've reached the checkered flag at the Japanese Grand Prix. John Jackson, here's the latest.
Yeah, and it's Kimi Antonelli, who has won back-to-back Grand Prix after victory last time out. Absolutely storming this one, despite having a terrible start, just really didn't get away from the line. It was Oscar Piastri who then took the lead for McLaren, but after the pit stops and a little bit of good luck, Antonelli sailed into the distance. So Piastri comes second. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari had some good battles there with George Russell, as did Lando Norris with Lewis Hamilton, and it was Leclerc who got the better of Russell and Norris who got the better of Hamilton. Special mention to Pierre Gasly, holding off Max Verstappen to finish 7th, and down in 18th place, and this is significant, Fernando Alonso finished the race for Aston Martin. If you know the struggles they've had this season, he has done incredibly well to get that car to the end of a Grand Prix in the same week he became a father. So it's Kimi Antonelli with a now 9-point lead in the championship. He becomes the youngest ever driver to lead a Formula One World Championship ever. But unfortunately, the momentum might stop slightly because now, because of the 2 races in the Middle East not taking place next month, we have 5 weeks to wait for the next Grand Prix as we go racing in Miami. So it's Kimi Antonelli ahead of Oscar Piastri with Charles Leclerc third.
Lovely stuff, John Jackson there. Coming up, we'll look ahead to the other 2 in the Scottish title race. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter, working with you.
Liverpool have announced on Tuesday the cost of attending a match at Anfield is going to increase. It's going to go up by 3% next season, following further increases in line with inflation over the next 2 campaigns. They've decided to do this despite consulting with the Liverpool FC Supporters Board, a decision which was firmly opposed by fan leaders. Liverpool have revealed that adult general admission tickets, which currently cost £39 to £61, are going to rise between about £1.25 and £1.75. Adult season tickets, priced at £713 to £904, will increase by £21 or £27. They say the cost of junior tickets and local general tickets available to those with a Liverpool postcode would remain frozen. Fenway Sports, though, the owners of Liverpool, have been in charge since 2010, haven't increased prices on the Kop since they took over in
the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne, alongside former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. A little bit clocks Coldplay.
Yeah.
Because the clocks went forward in the night, which means we've had an hour less. And that brings out the worst of me.
Yeah, an hour less than a 4-hour show.
Thank you. Thanks for the gentle reminder.
And the
However,
clock's not set right.
The clock's not changed.
So we've got
in the
another
studio.
3 hours to go.
Yeah. Really dragging it out this morning, aren't we? We are. Good to be with you, though. Some of your headlines today. Kimi Antonelli has won the Japanese Grand Prix to take 9-point lead in the Drivers' Championship after 3 races. Alessia Russo scored a first-half hat-trick as Arsenal beat North London rivals Tottenham to move second in the WSL League. Head coach Rennie Sleggers praised the Lionesses forward after the game.
I think she's always herself, wanting to bring her best version, very humble. She's lovely to work with, very respectful to anyone she works with or passes by. You can see she's stepping up, and you see moments in training as well where she's instructing more, communicating more, driving the team more.
She is. She's absolutely unbelievable. She was brilliant midweek in the Champions League in the win over Chelsea. And yesterday, a first-half hat-trick, 2 goals in 2 minutes. We love Alessia Russo. She's outstanding. Let's continue this chat, Cass, about the SPL. Focusing now on the top 2. We just spoke to Rangers podcaster there, Paul John Dykes. We can focus now on Hearts, finding themselves 3 points clear of Rangers and 5 points clear of Celtic. Hearts look organised and confident under Derek McInnes, whereas Rangers went into the international break unbeaten in their last 5 SPL games. So to get the fan perspective of things, we're joined by Liam Corbett now, who's a Hearts fan, and Stuart Wright representing Rangers this morning. Liam, Stuart, good to have you both with us.
Hiya, Liam, Stuart.
Good morning, both.
Well, you heard the Celtic voice there. So who should we start? We start with the Hearts man. Yeah. Yeah, we start with you and your season, because I touched on the Tony Bloom scenario come in, but you still couldn't imagine that you'd somehow be at top of the league with well, you're into nearly April now, in front of Rangers and Celtic.
No, like I said, I think that the Tony Bloom things are probably the main differentiator as to why people are paying attention, because I think a lot of people have came to Scotland over the last few years and promised the world to clubs that they're coming in. And nothing's really ever materialised, but the evidence of what Tony Bloom can achieve is written all over the clubs that he's touched. You know, USG and Belgium being probably the most comparable to the situation that we have in Scotland. But he said this was a 10-year programme. What he said for this season, actually, at the start of the season, was he'd be pretty disappointed if we didn't finish second. So I don't know if it's completely a shock that we're up there, given the data and the analytics, what Jamestown drive. I think that they've seen something somewhere, probably more in Celtic than in Rangers. The Celtic always have the capability, Stuart will tell you, to absolutely fold. They don't hang in half measures. They're either winning everything at an absolute canter, or they're what I burn Celtic Park down because they've no won 75 in a row or whatever it is. They're the hardest done by fans in Scotland. So I think you could see that there was an opportunity there. So it's been a crazy season, but one we're all just trying to embrace and enjoy.
Well, yeah, and you get to enjoy it. I mean, with not long to go, Liam, it's looking very possible that Hearts will do it, unless, I mean, I want to believe that Celtic can do it, but Stuart, you're looking at Rangers, you're looking at the turnaround now with Danny Rowe. It's possible.
It absolutely is possible, and I think if you'd said this to any Rangers fan back in October, I think we would have probably laughed, Shebahn. And even actually when we went to Tynecastle just before Christmas, Hearts beat us, I think we all thought, you know, he steadied the ship, but this is going to be a step too far for us. But we are right back in it. You know, where from a Rangers side, actually we've got the fewest league defeats in the whole of British football. It's been the draws that have actually killed us this season so far. We have a right opportunity with 7 games to go. This international break feels as if it's came at a nice time. I think everybody's just catching their breath at the moment. And now we'll get right back into it. When we come back against Dundee United, it'll be interesting because we play first for a change. Hearts and Celtic then play the following day. So it's an opportunity with us, with our goal difference, to actually go top of the table, which has, you know, I think it's been since the 5th league game. Hearts have been up there, so that will change things. So yeah, a chance for Rangers to put a bit of pressure on when we come back after the international break.
Back to you, Liam. In the running, tell us the game, or you think there's a pivotal moment in the running.
Well, I think Stuart will agree as well that both Hearts and Rangers have got to sort their away form. I think whatever team can manage their away form is probably likely to win the title. Hearts are unbeaten at home all season long. Rangers are pretty formidable at home in the last. Since Stanley Rose come in, they've sort of turned that around. Well, Hearts being the only team to have beat them at Ibrox, but I think the derbies will be big differentiators for both clubs. Obviously, Celtic and Rangers have to play each other at Celtic Park. We have to play Hibs at Easter Road. So I think anything that you can get, if one or the other of the teams can win those battles and those games, I think that could be key to the running, because obviously Hibs will be going hell for leather against us, and then I'll probably have some form of fan raffle to get 11 players to play whoever it is that could stop us winning the league. So if you're a Hibs fan, I'd get your boots out, because there's a chance you're playing.
And Stuart, what do you think has to happen between now? Obviously, the split happens soon. What do Rangers need to do in order to keep putting pressure on Hearts and maybe go on and win it?
Just win, Shebahn. That's the be all and end all. After the two Old Firm games recently, Danny Rowe talked about 9 cup finals.
Yeah,
we've won the first 2 of those, so there's 7 to go. It will be difficult, because I think we will probably, with the split, we might have what many might perceive as the toughest of that running, in terms of we need to go to Tynecastle, we will need to go to Parkhead. But I do like the way that Danny Rowe seems to have just galvanised this team, and you get a feeling that it is one game at a time for this Rangers side at the moment, and that's what they've got to do. And the form table shows that Rangers are, in terms of form, the best in the country at the moment. We are creating the most chances, etc. Defensively, I think we're now starting to look more solid, so I think we're in a decent place. Injuries will play a big part as well, Shebahn, and at the moment we've got a kind of fully fit squad. I know Liam will tell you Hearts are getting some of their big guys back from injury now, so there's going to be a lot of factors in it, and who deals with the pressure.
Exactly. And then 13th of June, we'll all come together and support Scotland at our first World Cup in God knows how long. What a title race. It's been a treat so far, guys. Good luck to you, and I hope you lose it from now on in. No love lost there, guys. Thank you so much for your time. That's Liam Corbett, Hearts fan, Stuart Wright, Rangers fan this morning.
Well, I tell you what, they're all happy now with their manager, aren't they? Hearts are happy with Derek McGuinness, Danny Rowell at Rangers, and Martin O'Neill at Celtic. So all 3 clubs are happy with their managers now.
You know, it's funny. I think was it Ali? Maybe it wasn't Ali. Maybe it was Ryan Stevenson, who used to play for Hearts, talking about Derek McInnes maybe being the Scotland manager after Stuart. Steve Clarke. And you just wondered if there's a possibility in that as well. If Hearts can hang on, unreal, but you wonder now if the pressure will get to them, because they've been hunted by the dominant 2. It's fascinating. Looking forward to
great running. What's it? We've got 7 games left, haven't we?
Yeah.
Great running.
And the split will happen as well. Fascinating stuff. And like we say, Scotland at the World Cup as well. Every game of the World Cup live on talkSPORT this summer. Coming up for you next, we'll look back in some of the Women's Super League action and a big win for Moses Atoma last night.
With Mo Salah leaving, a lot of commentators have talked about the fact there's a lack of icons in the Premier League. Obviously, last year we had De Bruyne leave. You've had, over the course of the last few years, you've had Ronaldo back fleetingly. You've had Ibrahimovic here fleetingly. But the big boys don't come to the Premier League, do they? I mean, Haaland is probably the only global icon that is still there. Would that be fair? I mean, Son's not there anymore. De Bruyne's not there anymore. Salah's going. Kane, Ronaldo, Zlatan, all gone. Mbappe, Vinicius.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
A very good morning to you. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne alongside former Millwall striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
So Moses Itomo continues to deliver after beating Jermaine Franklin in Manchester. Here's how it all sounded for you on talkSPORT.
Oh, big up! He's gone! He has now! He was almost knocked unconscious on his feet by a massive left uppercut, then a right hand, and now Moses Itomo bows to his crowd.
Is this guy ready to tackle the greats in the heavyweight game? We'll get the reports of boxing pundit Ruth Draper later on in the show. Scotland suffered a 1-0 defeat against Japan at Hampden Park in the first World Cup warm-up. Defender Jack Hendry says fixtures like these can feel unusual.
Friendlies are naturally a bit different than the competitive game, so you've got to try and go into the game and play it like competitive, but it's easy saying that. They're really good tests, these games, for us, and they're going to be extremely important going into the World Cup.
Scotland fans, we want to hear from you this morning. 03717 22 3344. Are you bothered about the results, or are these friendlies not that important? England fans, this is open to you as well. You've got Japan on Tuesday live on talkSPORT. We want to hear your say. 03717 22 3344. 8 to 1089 is the text message. And yesterday, Sean Dyche was here at talkSPORT Towers doing a show with Johnny Owen, and after his links to the Spurs job, he told a funny story about whether he'd been approached for the job yet.
this guy goes, "Oh, you meant to be in talks with Spurs tonight." No, well, I'm standing next to you having a pint of Guinness. I said, "It's unlikely." I said, "Unless you work for Spurs and they're in the Seven Stars pub having a pint of Guinness." I said, "It's highly unlikely."
Sean Dyche was on talkSPORT yesterday. He's going to be on the talkSPORT Daily podcast today. We'll get Cass's thoughts on whether he thinks Sean Dyche is the man to turn Spurs away from their relegation troubles. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Good morning. Do you know, after that Scottish SPL chat there,
Yeah.
I went to the toilet and Depeche Mode, Just Can't Get Enough, was on.
Oh, great band.
So whether that's a sign,
Yeah.
because that's our...
Yeah, Depeche Mode. Yeah.
I went, oh, okay, maybe I'll remember this moment.
Yeah.
Or we flush it down the pan, one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Good morning to you. We lost an hour's sleep last night. We're on till 10 o'clock today. It's a beautiful day out there. Get in touch with us this morning. We want to talk about these friendlies because we've not really learnt much from England against Uruguay. It's now 8 players have left the England camp ahead of the friendly on
Are you
Tuesday.
surprised by that?
No.
No, nor am I.
No, because there's nothing in these games. I know it's the chance for Thomas Tuchel to learn, but Thomas Tuchel knows what he's doing.
Well, a number of them. There are some injured, but there's some of them also are going back that wouldn't play any part on Tuesday night. So they, instead of sitting in the stands, they can go back.
Send them back, give them the recovery they need, let them rest a little bit. That's the thing. A lot of these, I mean, I look at the Scotland team and go, okay, we know our best players. We know the situation when it comes to the World Cup. Tuchel has, a luxury of riches to choose from. But he also needs to make sure those players are safe for the World Cup and they're protected and they're not injured in a friendly that will mean nothing. I know it's good for the fans to have that send-off to the World Cup, but you can't play his best players and give them a full 90 minutes.
Well, I would imagine I would imagine, Shebahn, it will be closer to the starting 11 on Tuesday, prior to the World Cup. I think that will be the closest team you'll see.
But so many of them have gone back.
Yeah, a number of them have. I mean, John Stones is a weird one because John is just can't seem to get fit. Whether it's for club or country, he seems to have so many injuries during the course of a season. I'm sure someone will tell me his numbers in other seasons have been great, but he's really struggled to get on the pitch often enough. So it's a blow for him and obviously for his club because he's just not played enough football.
Yeah. I mean...
You got people like Reece James who would certainly be in the starting lineup if he was fit. Now he's out injured. But then, is that the norm? Pretty much so, yeah. Most tournaments, you have you have teams that go that have certain players missing. Just inevitable.
But you mentioned there, come Tuesday night against Japan, you'll maybe see more of Thomas Tuchel's starting 11. But you look at Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, they returned to Arsenal for assessments. Adam Wharton not going to be there as well.
I don't think Adam will play. I don't think he's in the starting lineup. I think he'll do well to make the squad. Adam Wharton.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think he'll do well to make the squad, and he'd done all right when he came on the other night. I thought he came on and handled it really well. But I'm not sure how close he is to the full squad.
Yeah, Scotland last night defeated by Japan, who England play on Tuesday. It was a 1-0 defeat. Bit of a wake-up call maybe for Steve Clarke, or does he know exactly where he's at? They were booed off last night after the game. Steve said it post-match, it's just the modern game now. If people don't like it, they boo. If you lose, they boo. Is that okay? Is that what you want to do? I mean, really, Scotland fans, is this what we want? Going to a World Cup, our first World Cup in how long? We're going to sit there and boo them coming off to Japan, who are a good side. Come on now, let's get a grip of ourselves. 03717 223344. Let's focus now on Manchester City in the Women's Super League title race. They placed one hand on the trophy yesterday after that 3-0 win over Manchester United at Old Trafford. City now 11 points clear. Arsenal got a massive win yesterday, 5-2 over Spurs to see them go up to second in the table. Chelsea needing a result today in order to see them get the Champions League places next season. Manchester City boss Andre Jurglic says the pressure of closing in on the title doesn't seem to be affecting his players.
We can still do the things that we agree on doing. We can still do the things that we are good at on the field. And if you can handle that and also feeling that you have great players around you, it's easier to deal with it. And that's what we have done all the time.
Unbelievable squad of players around him, to be fair. The spine of the team is outrageous. Building a squad, I would say, around Bunny Shaw. She's still not signed a contract, though, we believe, or has she? Somebody who knows more on all of this, WSL expert Alexa Rendell, is with us now. Good morning, Alexa.
Alexa.
Hey, good morning, guys. Nice to see you. How's things?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Very well, thanks.
So tell us the latest, because obviously we've had a pivotal weekend in the women's game.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely brilliant day yesterday. I mean, 3 derbies, Everton versus Liverpool, Man United, Man City, and of course, the North London derby, Arsenal, Tottenham. If you start off talking about that Manchester derby, it's really nice that Viv Miedema kind of got her flowers. It's been talking about Bunny Shaw all season long, and understandably so. Such high-scoring player for Man City. But 2 goals for Viv Miedema really put Man City in control of that one, particularly early on, followed up by a third for Kirsten Kasper. I mean, City just look untouchable now at the top of the WSL standings. Arsenal are the ones trying to chase them down, 2 games in hand, but an 11-point gap is a really big ask going towards the end of the season. And frankly, despite 5 games in a win for Arsenal, I'm just not sure it's manageable when you think about the fact that, look, if Man City win 2 of their next 3 games, they can't be touched. And elsewhere, it's also worth touching on Everton versus Liverpool. That battle to avoid the relegation playoff at the end of the season has really hotted up. Liverpool looked like they were almost certain to be down there, and now their last few games, they've just picked up in form. They're finding momentum, probably a little bit too late in the year, some might argue, but hey, I think they'll certainly be pleased to have, 5-6 point gap away from the team in 11th place West Ham who play today. So yeah, it was a really, really fun day of football yesterday. Plenty of goals, and I'm sure we're going to be looking for the same today.
Alexa, if we'd have been on the radio 2 or 3 years ago, it would have been mainly the talk around Chelsea, and yet Chelsea have seemed to have slipped far down the pecking order, certainly this season.
Yeah, it's a really tough one for them. I think the main thing for me that's been an issue this year is just ultimately their squad depth. That when you look at the injuries, the players they've had leaving the club, I mean, even Katarina Macario being announced as leaving this week, heading over to the NWSL, injury after injury, they just can't seem to get a handle on having the squad that they need against someone like Man City who haven't got Champions League football this year. Yeah, I think Sonia Van Pasta is not found it the easiest taking over from a legacy like Emma Hayes. And Chelsea playing Aston Villa today at midday. I'm about to head down to Kingsmeadow myself to work on that one. And players like Sam Kerr and Ellie Carpenter will be a real help as they return from the Asian Cup. But ultimately, it's a really big ask for them to even chase down Arsenal. I think for them, Sonia Van Pasta has been quoted as now saying that every single game for the rest of the season is a must-win game. They need to be scoring points in order to secure Champions League football for next year. Only the top 3 in the WSL will be doing that, and it's just a handful of points separating those top 4. So one team out of Man City, Arsenal, Man United and Chelsea is going to be leaving this season not particularly happy, missing out on that Champions League spot.
It's just weird seeing Chelsea sitting 4th in the table. It really is a strange time. Something's not right there. Sonia Bonpastor knows that herself. But that said, I don't see them dropping any more points in the WSL this season because I think their running looks okay. And of course, it's Champions League next week as well, the second leg. Can they turn it around against Arsenal? We will have to wait and see. Alexa, good luck at the game today. Hope it goes well.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers,
WSL reporter there, Alexa Rendell. Coming up for you today, it's Chelsea, Villa, Leicester, Brighton, West Ham, London City Lionesses, and like we say, Champions League. The second legs of the quarterfinals return for you next week. Stick with us. We'll get the latest odds from Coral of what's coming up for you today, and then we'll do our top 5 of the week. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more. Join us now to look ahead to All British Heavyweight boxer Dillian White. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Dillian.
Good morning, good morning. How's everything been? Good?
Yeah, good, mum.
Yeah, really, really good. You gutted for the Welsh last night for no reason whatsoever? Or is it just Gabby who's hammering them?
have no comment.
Gillian, what are you thinking about this fight then? You fought both fighters, Itoma and Franklin. What are you expecting from Franklin in this fight?
I think it's a good fight. It depends on what Franklin turns up because, you know, he can turn up and put on a good show and be a really good fighter. Sometimes he can turn up and be a little bit of a stinker.
Weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Celtic and Marseille striker Tony Cascarino. A little bit of food, glorious food.
Yeah.
Please, sir.
Yes. More? Yeah, I was doing that to my son yesterday because I was trying to get him to eat his dinner and then he ate it all and then he said, "Can I have some more?" And I was like, "More?" And he, of course, no idea it's Oliver. He's only 10, so yeah. What a classic film this is, by the way.
I know. It's a great movie, isn't it? It's a great movie. Pretty scary, though, now.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Some of the things of the past are quite scary.
Reason we're playing it, by the way, Scotland take on the Ivory Coast at Hill Dickinson Stadium, and there's a special menu on offer for the fans going to the game. 2 nations, 1 menu.
Right.
They've combined it, a limited edition chocolate-filled donut. I'd eat that all day.
Chocolate-filled donut.
Chocolate donuts are the one.
Yeah.
Both flag colours, ivory and beef stew. That sounds nice.
Sounds nice, great, yeah.
And of course,
with dumplings.
Oh, this is a good point.
Got to be with dumplings.
I'd say if they're doing it right, put the dumplings in there.
Yeah.
Even though I've never had dumplings in my stew. We spoke about this recently.
Yeah.
And battered Mars bars on the list as well. Have you ever had one of them?
I think I have along the way. I just don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that before, battered Mars bars.
They actually are tasty.
Yeah.
But a couple of bites and you're like, ugh, feel a bit sick. One to share.
A bit too Moorish.
Aye, share it maybe. That's coming up at Hill Dickinson, of course, this week in the international friendlies. We can now get the latest odds with Coral.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Simon Clare is here. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hi, Simon. Don't
I'm
care.
very good. How are you guys? You well?
Yeah,
don't care. Why don't care?
How are you, Simon? You good?
I'm good, mate. Really good. Yeah, it's one of those sort of quiet Sundays, isn't it? It's with the international break and everything. Well, you're doing a great job covering a range of sporting issues. So I've been enjoying.
Thank you, Simon.
You know we're in trouble when you have to say, Simon, what about the international friendly of Colombia taking on France? Give us the odds, please.
Well, I suppose it's important, though, because everyone's waking up. There are sports fans anyway thinking, well, look, I want to watch something, get excited about something. And there are a few little crumbs of comfort, just be reassured. And I think this is one of them. This is the Colombia versus France tonight. It's 8 p.m. I did watch some of the highlights of Brazil against France on Thursday, where France won 2-1. They looked quite dominant. Ekitike got his goal. Mbappe scored a wonderful goal. And France are favourites tonight. I should have the odds here, and I'm wittering on. But Colombia...
The game's in America, isn't it?
All right, we're in our delay, Simon. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. No, it's Orlando is where the match is, and it's going to. I mean, listen, it'll be a great game, great atmosphere. Colombia lost to Croatia on Thursday, but prior to that, they'd been unbeaten for the last year. They qualified well. I think they were third in the CONMEBOL qualifying. So Colombia is 7-2. The draw is 3-1. France are 4-6. We got Luis Diaz, of course, playing for Colombia. He's 9-4 to score at any time. Mbappe 11-10, and Ekitike at 6-4.
Oh, that 11-10. Okay, if you've got any odds there, Simon, because if Mbappe scores, he equals Olivier Giroud's record today. So if he gets 2, he breaks that record. He'll be France's highest goal scorer.
And we do 2 or more. God, this is good. I'm glad I set it up. 13-2. Mbappe to score 2 or more goals today. Yeah. So there you go. There's something to kick on to. Here's something interesting though for you, Cass and Shebahn. If I was to say to you, which team do you think currently are shorter to win the World Cup out of England and France? Who do you think it would be?
England.
No.
That's interesting. Shebahn's right. But you think it's wrong, Cass, obviously. I thought it's the betting is Spain 4-1.
Yeah.
England the second favourites at 6-1, and then France at 7-1. And I must admit, I'm an England fan. I feel that's wrong. Do you know what I mean? I think it's win the World Cup, but France looks stronger, sort of more established. They do it more often.
Yeah. World champions in 18. They've had some great sides, and they're pretty close again. I mean, if you think of Ekitike and Mbappe as the forward line, it's a pretty dangerous one, isn't it?
Yeah. But listen, I say Shebahn takes the points because England are 6-1 and France is another win on a Sunday morning for Shebahn.
Take it.
But listen, it's a long way. Argentina 8-1, Brazil 8-1. I think a feeling is that maybe the South American sides might be favoured by the conditions and the climate come, June, July in America. But I don't think Brazil look very strong as a lineup, do they? That's a funny thing when you look at their players. It's not like the Brazil of old, which used to scare the hell out of you, But. No. Anyway, that's a long way off.
I wonder what the odds would be when it comes to Scotland playing Brazil in Miami. Ooh. Like, do we stand a chance against the Brazilians?
Well, there'll be odds on, but I'm very sure. Of course,
obviously.
They will, Brazil. Yeah,
they will be. I may even have them. I'm just saying, which game is
it? I go 3s on.
I don't. I'm whizzing through. I've got all the odds are up for the matches. I haven't got them in front of me. I'd say they'd be Brazil would be 3-1 on, or maybe short. I would have thought.
Sure. Let's talk about the England game then on Tuesday. Do you have the odds for an England win or Japan? I mean, they're a good side. Scotland experienced that last night.
That is a good question. Have I got the international? I've got it. International friendlies. And this is good. This is them. Oh God, I haven't got the odds in front of me, have they?
Don't worry.
Let's move on. I'll tell you what we have got. We've got the Women's Super League matches today. You just chatted about them a few minutes ago. Chelsea, Cass, you're just saying they aren't the force they were the last couple of seasons. But they do need to win today against Villa to get back up into second place, even though Arsenal have got games in hand. Chelsea are 1-5 to do that at home today. 5-1 the draw, 8-1 Villa. And down the bottom, Leicester rooted to the bottom on 9 points. They're 7-2 at home to a Brighton side. Are odds on to beat them, but they need to win, Leicester, and hope West Ham lose, because West Ham are above them on 12 points, and West Ham are second favourites against London. So West Ham struggling as well, but just at the moment above Leicester in the Women's Super League. So some Women's Super League action during the afternoon to prepare yourself for that Colombia-France match this evening.
Simon, I'm very confident that you have odds on the racing today.
I bet he does, this guy.
I do. And listen, I was, again, in terms of searching for stuff to chat about on air, which I always like to do because I love talking to you on a Sunday morning, you're not going to believe who's running today in the 4:15 at Ascot. A horse called Alan Brazil.
There you go.
And there you go, right. And now this is actually, there's been a lot of coverage in the Racing Post over this, because this is a horse trained by Nick Schofield, who was an ex-jockey who's just become a trainer. This is owned by the Nick Schofield Racing Club, so a lot of people just chucking in a few quid to own this racehorse. And because the sire, a very high-performing stallion called Blue Brazil, Bresil, is obviously the dad of this horse, they've creatively named him Alan Brazil rather than Brazil. He's a rank outsider today. Hopefully will turn up, but he should run okay. And he's in his early stage of his career. And the thing, there's a connection there because Nick Schofield actually rode for John Joe O'Neill for many years. And John Joe's sponsor, Martin Tedham, a top man. They were all obviously huge fans of Alan Brazil. They love Alan turning up every Monday at Cheltenham Festival Week at Jackdaw's Castle. So again, it's probably a load of people who've been down to Jackdaw, seen Alan in action with Ray on that Monday morning and decided to come up with the name Alan Brazil. So there you go, 4:15 at Ascot. Tune in. Let's see how Alan gets on. Come on, Big Al.
Go on, Al. You can do it. Simon Clare, thank you so much.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Simon.
guys.
See you again soon. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18 plus, be gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
The talkSPORT 20k giveaway.
How do you feel about this? £20,000 in your back pocket. Maybe a lot to get into the back pocket, but £20,000 could be yours completely tax-free. To get involved, text the word WIN to 83338. Text costs you £2.50 plus your one standard network rate, or call this number 0343 418 7260. That's 0343 418 7260. The lines close for this on the 9th of April, 4 in the afternoon. You need to answer your phone if it rings. It's 18 plus, UK residents only, a network promotion with all of the T's and C's on the website at talksport.com. £20,000 completely tax free. Give it a whirl. Text the word WIN to 83338 now. Time now to get the latest though at the Japanese Grand Prix. Here's John Jackson.
Hello and good morning again, Shebahn. Yeah, so Kimi Antonelli, incredible performance from him. A little bit of luck with the timing of the safety car, which meant that he got a bit of an advantage after Ollie Behrman had a big accident there. Limped away from that. Obviously looks okay, but we'll have to wait and see if he's got any kind of injuries there. It wasn't a very nice one for him. And yeah, Kimi Antonelli becomes the first Italian since I think 1953 to win 2 Formula 1 races back-to-back. It means he's now got a 9-point lead in the championship ahead of his teammate George Russell, and it's a great time for Mercedes because they've won every single race this season, but they do have a 5-week gap now, and that does give the other teams an opportunity to work on what they're bringing to races, work on these brand new cars that we've only seen for 3 race weekends so far, and they could close the gap. Of course, there's also the chance that Mercedes could sail a bit further into the distance. So looking very good if you are a fan of Mercedes, and especially Kimi Antonelli. But it was good to see Oscar Piastri get a good start and come second in the first race he's actually taken part in this season after 2 stinkers to start the season.
John, we've just had a text, somebody complaining that you're spoiling the race for them because they didn't wake up in the middle of the night to watch it. So can you just stop doing your job, please?
Yeah, I wouldn't call 6 a.m. the middle of the night, Shebahn. I don't know what kind of timings we're working on.
Truly ruining it for everyone, or one person and their shady text message. John Jackson back with us later on. Coming up next, we'll look back on a devastating victory for the Wonder Kid Moses Atoma last night live on talkSPORT.
Former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has broken his silence on Mo Salah's impending departure from the Reds. Here he is talking to the Anfield Wrap about the legacy that Salah will leave behind.
Unbelievable goal. So he was part of the best front three in world football for a long time and was the one who always had the highest numbers. So that says something. That really says something. It's not easy to be slightly above the other 2 guys, and they have all their specific skills. But Mo was the one for the last situation. He wanted to have that more than anybody. So Sadio was a mix of both. Like, yes, he wanted to score goals, but he could have played midfield even. So that's his skill set. Bobby was the genius who didn't care about anything and could play absolutely everything, and Mo was the one who was really always the goal in his mind. And you cannot train that, and I don't think you really can learn it. It's inside, and he has that, and he will have that until the last day of his life, I'm pretty sure. That's why it was the challenge, because if you want to rotate or whatever, and you
Weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne. Former Marseille striker Tony Cascarino is here. We're just doing songs about time.
Oh, is it? Is this the band Foreigner?
It is.
Is it?
Oh, it is, yeah. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Who is it then? Europe.
Europe. Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
You can see where you went wrong there, though.
Yeah. Very similar. I weren't sure. I remember the song, but I don't know why. I'm not too bad on 80s music as well. But anyway.
It's a great mix-up, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good mix-up. I'm battered. You know, I went off the Red Bull like 4 days ago, and I need one so badly today. That whole lack of hours sleep plus the hour on air it's knocked me for 6.
Shebahn, you've got all day to recover.
Oh, shut up.
You've got all day. Some people are going to work now.
Are you going home with your 6-year-old twins? And your giant man-child husband.
You're going to go home and Jamie's going to look after the boys while you have a nap?
Well,
I think so.
I have a boy and a girl, so thanks for listening. Do you know what? He is taking them swimming, so I will.
Oh, right. So I was right then, yeah.
I will have a giant nap. And then my mother-in-law's having them overnight.
Oh, right, okay. What about during the holidays? You going away to Barbados for a few days?
No, I'm going to the middle of nowhere. And he's staying home to have 5 days of golf.
Yeah, he's probably earned it.
Oh, shut up. Here's what's coming up for you on talkSPORT today. 10 o'clock, Sunday edition. Henry Winter alongside Sean Custis. All the supplements, all the pullouts and the papers, they're across everything you need to know. 12 o'clock, you've got the warm-up with Max Rushton and Barry Glendenning. And then the Sunday session is here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After that, 6 o'clock, the final word with Majestic. Oh, and Kevin Nolan today taking all your calls on the action from the sport this weekend, and probably some England chat and what's to come this week in the friendly against Japan. And then you've got the Trans-Euro Express at 10 o'clock tonight. Stay across it all. Download the talkSPORT app. Stay with us here on the TV or on the radio. We have you covered. And it's time now for our top 5 with Volkswagen Transporter.
The talkSPORT Top 5 with the Volkswagen Transporter on a mission to change the game. Search VW Transporter.
Cass, this is our top 5 of the week. We choose 5 sporting moments or people who have stood out this week. And then at number 5, the Scottish woman, we'll say it. I'm going to put Ben White in there at number 5, making his return to England, getting on the pitch and scoring a goal.
Yeah, and giving away a penalty.
Yeah, but a penalty, right? If that's what you're calling it these days, yes, giving away a penalty. Ben White in there.
Do you know, I was driving home Friday, sort of late afternoon, and I kept thinking I might have a little punt on first goal scorer, and I just had a moment. I thought I did Ben White. I didn't do it, but I thought Ben White. You know how sometimes fate just happens.
Yeah, it was a bit like fate, right?
Yeah, and he ends up scoring. And look, he came on, he got a goal. Yeah, and it wasn't a weekend of outstanding achievements by many people, but the fact that he got a goal and done okay.
We'll put him there at number 4 then. Tara Jones.
Yeah.
This is the rugby league
It's the ref, isn't it?
Yeah. She made history, becoming the first female referee to take charge of a Super League match. She refed Huddersfield Giants over Wigan, which ended 34-16. So well played to her. We're seeing this change now, aren't we?
Yeah, and it's all about how well you do, isn't it? The sex of the referee doesn't really matter, and if you do really well and you prove that you're really, adequate to do the job, it's fine.
Yeah. And then at number 3, got to put Alessia Russo in there.
Don't stop, does she?
She doesn't stop.
No.
Yeah, no, she's sensational, and yesterday was on one at the Emirates in the North London Derby. She got a hat-trick in the first half, 2 goals in 2 minutes as well. They thumped Spurs 5-2. And Alessia Russo, unbelievable. Can I also just mention quickly in there as well,
Go on.
we're going to put Kim Little in there, former Scotland captain, Arsenal captain, 400th appearance yesterday for the club, and just an absolute icon of the game as well. So stick Kim in there as well.
Yeah, good. Number 2, Gary Woodland.
Okay.
I want to give a mention to Gary because he had a brain tumour operation a couple of years ago, and he's been really suffering. PTSD suffering after he had his brain operation, and he's leading in America, in Texas, and he's leading by 1 shot over Nikolai Højgaard, and I just keep my fingers crossed for him because you could see him in the opening rounds. I think he had a 62, 63 on Friday, and he's really battling because so many fans are wanting him to do well because he's come through this, this difficult period of his career. And he looked emotional while he was playing. I watched quite a bit of it last night, and he looked really emotional as he was playing.
Yeah.
And look, he's openly spoke about it, how difficult the period has been for him. So fair play to him as number 2.
Yeah, that's lovely. And then at number 1, it has to be Moses Atoma after his brilliant victory against Jermaine Franklin last night. Here's how it all sounded live on talkSPORT.
Oh, big up! He's got! He has now! He was almost knocked unconscious on his feet by a massive left uppercut, then a right hand, and now Moses Atoma bows to his crowd.
Yeah, that has to be our number 1 sporting moment here of the weekend. What a superstar. Possible future world champion in the making. That was all thanks to Volkswagen Transporter.
The talkSPORT Top 5 with the Volkswagen Transporter on a mission to change the game. Search VW Transporter.
Cass, let's keep on the heavyweight hype train because Moses Atoma became the first man to ever stop Jermaine Franklin in Manchester last night. He knocked out the American in the 5th round. He put him down in the 3rd as well. Frank Warren told talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver that Atoma is ready to take the next step.
Who's going to be that guy that's going to give him the rounds before he gets there? I'm telling you, he will fight for a world title this year. That will happen. He's number 1 in the WBO, number 1 in the WBA. and there will be a world title fight. What will that be for a vacant title, Frank? Surely those titles are going to have to fragment because Alexander Usyk won't be able to fulfil those mandatories, will he? He's either going to have to defend his belts or vacate them. That's his choice. He vacated the WBO. That's why we got the great fight on May the 9th with Fabio and Daniel Dubois. That's where we're at, and no one's forcing him to give up the belts. You give up the belts because you don't want the fight. It's as simple as that.
Queensbury's Frank Warren there, talking to Spencer Oliver about Thomas win. Pleased to see former Team GB boxer and presenter Ruth Raper is now with us to give us some more. Ruth, that was something special. We didn't doubt it, did we?
No, it was incredible. I don't think, like you said, I don't think anyone thought that Atama was going to win, but this fight was really all about how was Moses going to win? Was he going to make a statement? Like you said, Franklin's never been stopped before, and the British public know him because he's been in 2 fights with big British names, AJ and White, and they couldn't stop him. And wow, he really did put on a statement. Moses is just something special. I know a lot of people are going to say we need to get off this hype train, but as far as I'm concerned, if you cannot get excited about what we're seeing with Moses Atama, then you're not going to get excited about anything. This guy is really special.
Have we seen Atama been, rocked in any fight? Because I can't remember an incident in any bout I've seen him in where someone's actually shaking him. It feels like he's just doing that to anyone he fights. No,
we've seen no weakness from him. He is special, and I think people are starting to use that word more and more now with Moses. He moves like a middleweight, and that's very, very rare. A lot of people compare Moses to Mike Tyson, and I can understand that because he's got the explosiveness and the speed. But actually, I think there's so many comparisons to Usyk because he's the only other heavyweight that moves like he's not a heavyweight. He's the only other heavyweight that you can possibly one day drop into the pound for pound list, because he's technically so advanced.
Yeah, and that's amazing to see from a 21-year-old, isn't it? When you see people in any sport come on, and show what they can do at a very young age, whether it's Beckham at Becker at tennis, or Max Dowman at Arsenal as a 16-year-old, or it's just extraordinary to see a boxer, because in heavyweight terms, 21 is so young.
Yeah, again, we're used to seeing heavyweights kind of come into their own when they're in their at least late 20s, sometimes even mid-30s. But again, I guess it's another comparison to Mike Tyson. He's incredible at such a young age. But a few years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, boxing fans were kind of a bit worried about where we were going to get our next star. Well, here he is.
Yeah. And do you know what as well? Like somebody myself who's not a boxing purist, when you watch the knockout on Franklin, it's like a work of art.
Yeah, this is the thing. He's not just technically stunning, beautiful, perfect. He also has that knockout power, and he looks for the knockout. I think when you watch last night, you can see he knew a lot of people wanted the statement, and it was all about, can he put Franklin away? So you could see the first round, his tempo was so high because he was constantly looking for the openings. And I again, that's another thing to love about him. He's not just technically beautiful, he's also a puncher and looks for the stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's 6'4", so we're talking about a devastating puncher at 6'4", and he's going to grow a little bit more in size over the next few years. So the next question is where do you see the next fight? Because obviously Frank Warren's talking up, he'll fight for a world title belt this year. Which one would it be? Is it Fabio Wardley, or do you see him going down another road?
Well, he's pretty high up on all of the governing bodies bar one. He's number 1 with the WBA and the WBO, and I think he's number 3 with the WBC. He's got lots of options, and I personally, as much as, listen, I'm the biggest Atama fan going, I'm his biggest hype man, I still don't see the need to rush him. He doesn't need to be in a world title fight in his next fight, as far as I'm concerned. I'd like to see him in with the likes of someone like Hrgovic. I know he's got a fight coming up, but I think that'd be an amazing fight. Frank Sanchez, that would push Moses up in the IBF rankings. I think there's so many fights out there for him because the heavyweight division, there's so many names. It's very top heavy. There's lots of names at that top kind of echelon of the sport. And a lot of the heavyweights at the moment are tied up in fights. And I want to see Moses busy. I'd like to see him in a fight in the next 3 or 4 months. So I think he should get a fight with one of the top 7 guys. And then after that, let's start looking at a world title. And ultimately, like you said, there's Fabio. He's got the WBO.
but then Usyk has all of the others. So unless he fights the winner of Fabio Dubois or Usyk, then why not just jump in one of the other guys? I think he can more than handle any of the other guys.
See, Ruth, it's quite weird sometimes, because especially in boxing, I remember Steve Collins telling me this when I was on a plane coming back from Ireland and we were chatting, and he talked about a period where people avoided him. Is Atoma there where some fighters are going, it's not really the fight you should be taking right now? Is that a fair point?
Yeah, because if you're looking to get your hands on a world title, ultimately, why go to Moses when he hasn't got a world title and there's a good chance he's going to beat you? But at the same time, Queensberry is one of the best promotions in the world, and they make fights happen. Frank Warren's been saying that for years now. It's the home of the heavyweights, and he's going to make all the big fights happen. And I think Moses is the jewel in the top of that Queensberry crown.
Yeah, he's got us so excited. He really, really has. And no surprise last night, but what a job he's done so far. Listen, Ruth, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks,
Take care.
Ruth.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Former GB boxer there, Ruth Raper.
Interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. The fact that he's so good is, you know, there is an element of, do you really want to take on him now? Yeah. Even though he could improve, or he should improve over the next year or two, but it's a dangerous fight for some of the heavyweights.
And that's the thing. I mean, his age, in a way as well, you know, to be beaten by somebody that young with less experience than them. But he's just a freak, isn't he? I mean, he's unreal.
And he's 6'4" as well. He's not a fighter like Tyson, who was 5'10", 5'11", but a huge puncher. I mean, Deontay Wilder is a huge puncher, but he was 6'5", something like that. This guy's seriously dangerous.
Unbelievable stuff. More, by the way, on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel and on our website at talksport.com. Coming up for you next on the Weekend Sports Breakfast, we'll take a unique look at some classic talkSPORT rants. Good morning.
We're talking all things Harry Maguire. John is a Man United fan. Jonathan?
How are you doing? You okay?
I'm great. Very well, man. How are you today?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you.
What's that noise? Have you just opened your wallet?
No, you have to excuse me. It's the police going past in Hereford, which means there's probably a cat stuck in a tree somewhere.
Okay. Well, just be careful.
Yeah, I'm being safe, mate. Hands free and all that.
Good, good. Go on, off you go.
Yeah, talking about Harry Maguire. So, I'm a United fan. Has he let the club down on numerous occasions? Yes, he's a bit of a Marmite player. But with regards to England, I can't think of a time he's ever actually let England down.
Yeah, good
point.
point.
Every time he's put an England shirt on, he's always done a job.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing.
Would you start him for England?
I'd start him for England, yeah.
You would?
For his experience, for his age, yeah. I think he's a solid centre-back. He, like I said, never let him down.
Are you pleased that he's signing? Are you pleased he's signing another year at United?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He brings a lot of, you've seen him over the last few months playing under Carrick. He's brought a lot more composure to that back line. And yeah, all round, I think I've been a critic of him. Like I said, being a United fan.
We're normally 5 till 9.
Yeah.
But not today, people. We're on till 10. Good morning. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne.
What year Dolly Parton was it?
Oh, don't.
It's definitely 80s. I'm pretty sure.
Let's go for what you're saying. It's 1980s or 80s?
I would imagine 80s. I'm not sure how early though. About 83 to 85, somewhere around then.
I'll go 1980.
Oh, well, you might be right.
Any of us right? Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm right. Or who's right? Who's right? I'm right.
1980. I'd have had it a little bit later. Yeah.
This was my karaoke song for a while.
Yeah.
Tune. Anyway, moving on. Some of your headlines. Kimi Antonelli has won the Japanese Grand Prix to take a 9-point lead in the Drivers' Championship after 3 races. Super League leaders Wigan Warriors suffered a shock home loss to bottom side Huddersfield Giants, ending their 100% start to the season. And the London Marathon is just over a month away. And Gladiators Fire and Nitro joined us at talkSPORT Towers this week. Oh, nice. They gave me some advice for my training.
Yeah, I know. We're both like, would you do a marathon? I'm always like, absolutely not. We're like, we go the shortest distance possible. Literally, the shortest distance you can ever do in Olympic Games, we do. We literally found the quickest way out. Literally. But I think what we were saying earlier about.
Oh, absolutely no advice at all in there, guys. But thank you.
Basically, run the shortest distance you can find.
Appreciate that. Yeah. They just run to the couch and sit there. You look at the size of the Gladiators they were in.
Oh, they're going to be huge, aren't they?
Absolute monsters.
Yeah.
25 days to go. Is that right?
Really?
Yeah, it will be something like that. 26th of April. Looking forward to the London Marathon. 17 miles to run on Tuesday.
Yeah.
If I survive.
So you got to do one full marathon before you do
No.
the actual. You don't do that.
No, I think
the adrenaline will get you the last part, won't it?
So they say it's funny the amount of people who say that almost the crowd on the day can take what feels
Yeah.
like 8 or 10 miles off.
Right.
For you or see you through those miles. But yeah, I've got to go to about 19 miles, I think.
Right.
So I'm nearly there. Nearly
Good.
there. The other one the other day felt good. That was 15 miles. I felt okay with that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm doing it for the National Autistic Society, by the way, and I need to set up my fundraising and get that sorted.
Yeah.
But thank you for all your well wishes on it so far. Now, talkSPORT presenters absolutely love a rant, don't they? Whether it's Adrian Durham complaining about VAR, Jamie O'Hara moaning about Spurs, or Alan Brazil going crazy at the latest roadworks on the A12. One woman on Instagram has made it her mission to give a new dimension to various lyrics and rants and movie scenes in her own unique way. She's got a massive following, getting together on social media. It's Bex on Instagram. Bexy Bex, who's with us now, conducting and reading a few for us this morning from the talkSPORT Classics. Good morning, Bex. How are you?
Hi, Bex.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to your, what would I say, mimicking some of our rants.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I've got a couple of good ones here.
You're a big football fan as well. Tell us about your team.
No, my husband is a massive football fan. But I mean, I'm always watching football because it's always on. But no, I watch a lot of like the England games when they're on.
Yeah, you're married into it, Bex.
So, Bex, can I ask you, because, you know, like rants, we all do it, we're all guilty of it, and sometimes they're really ridiculous rants, as in about nothing, which we're all guilty. Is that what intrigued you to get in sort of, you know, doing your own versions of the rants?
I just really love reading them out. It's just hilarious. I started back in maybe 2024, just on my TikTok, reading song lyrics, and I thought I'd just try it out and see if people like it. And yeah, they just went crazy for it. And then I moved it over to my Instagram and started reading out movie scenes as well, and reviews and things like that, and people, they love it.
And I see that, but I guess I see the amount of people on social media who are following you as well. Like, everybody loves you. All the footballers are following you. Ali McCoist is a big fan of you as well. I don't know if you know Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I died. It was I was like, what is happening here? Are we going to be besties now, me and Snoop? It's insane. I know. And Ali's he's so sweet, bless him. He's really lovely.
He's very good. So you're going to give us some talkSPORT rants, am I right? You're going to.
I've got 2 here for you.
Okay, and the point is that you make them really well spoken, right?
Yes.
Which means we can't give you a Simon Jordan one because he's already well spoken enough. which is a shame. Who have you got for us then, Bex?
I've got a Rory Jennings one.
Do you know Rory Jennings?
Yes,
Are you a fan?
Sorry, I don't.
Yeah, Rory, you know, he makes sure he carefully chooses his words.
Okay. Yes. It's a very carefully spoken, worded out rant about Chelsea.
Go for it.
He is a terrible goalkeeper. He is a calamity. The amount of points that man has cost us, he's not a good keeper. He's not. I wish we were doing this show in 24 hours' time when you get battered by Forest. I do. I'll get that violin in a minute and I'll start playing that for your relegation party. You've got some front, O'Hara, to sit there giving it the big un when Tottenham are getting relegated tomorrow. How can you possibly be fake playing a violin? He's been a distinct failure. Now get him out the club and get a proper manager in. There are so many obvious proper managers. Managers who have a proven track record. Managers who know what it takes to win games of football. This Chelsea team are still capable of getting into the Champions League spots this year. With this manager, that is not going to happen.
You sound like you should be the Queen or something. That is exactly who you sound like to me.
The Queen. The Queen with my tea.
I love that you've got your wee cup of tea there as well. Jason Cundy, give us a Cundy rant.
Okay. Has anyone seen Spurs? To dare is to do. Honestly. Can you hear me? To dare is to do. Your boys took one hell of a beating. The Europa League champions, honestly. The Europa League champions. Beyonce. Chick King. Chick King. Chick King. Can you hear me, Chick King? Your boys took one hell of a beating. The big cockerel. Honestly. The big cockerel. Sainsbury's by the stadium. The Eze signing. Can you hear me, Eze signing? Your boys took one hell of a beating.
Brilliant, Bex. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. You must mention you've been viewed like millions of times all over social media. So thank you for having a go at our own presenters.
I'm honoured. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
And it's Bexy Bex on social media, right?
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Good luck to you, Bex. Thank you so much.
So much.
Just don't impersonate me next time, all right? I've got no portion there. You listen to the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll look back on a big day in the Gallagher Prem.
Every Thursday we'll be joining the studio by rapper and Spurs fan AJ Tracy. How are you?
How you doing, fella? Not too bad.
Good. Now, we spoke to you on the phone before. I've never met you, right?
You spoke to me on the phone before, yeah.
Okay, do I call you AJ, Trace?
You call me whatever you want to call me.
Yeah, but what do your pals call you?
AJ. Age, yeah.
Okay,
Age.
nice to meet you, Age.
If we've had a beer, it's Age.
Age, okay.
Yeah,
we should do that on Thursday.
Yeah?
Thursday's a great night to go out.
I heard the fridge is stocked over here. I might be here for...
Forget the food. We go across the road for a few. Can I ask what AJ stands for?
AJ, it's a multitude of things, but it's it's just a stage name that I thought makes sense. It sounds like a normal name though. It sounds like a government name, which is why I picked that rather than one of these crazy aggressive rapper names. I thought something that will sell, you know, something that a mother's not going to look at. If their kid wants the AJ Tracy record, they're going to be, that name's crazy, I'm not going to buy the record. Just a nice, normal...
It's a friendly name.
It's a friendly name. Yeah. It's marketable.
Obviously it is because it works.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You said it, not me. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming in.
No, thanks for
What are you up to at the moment? We're going to talk loads. I know you're a big Spurs.
By the way, if I wasn't here with you, I'd be watching this, by the way. Like,
how nice is that?
Of course I would. I watch
is it your favourite show?
Yeah, it is, definitely.
Oh, that's nice of you. Well, you're our favourite artist.
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. You had to say that.
You know.
Should we ruin the conversation by talking
Go ahead.
Spurs
Let's do it.
You're a Spurs fan, right?
I'm embracing myself. I am.
How did it all come crashing down for Wales so suddenly? In his first tenure in charge, Warren Gatland built a dynasty, taking young guns and turning them into giants, not just for Wales, but for the Lions as well. 4 Six Nations titles, 3 of them Grand Slams, and in 2019, a world #1 ranking. But then, a record drop-off, golden generation all but gone, a first wooden spoon for 21 years, and 14 losses on the bounce. Why? Perhaps the main reason was poor spending. During Gatland's first tenure, the WRU committed its funds to world-leading training facilities for the national side, but underinvested in the club scene. Despite Ireland raking in similar overall revenues, its union would be committing up to £30 million a year more than Wales to their provincial clubs. In 2023, a report found the WRU had flitted away an £84 million TV deal on the purchase of a Cardiff hotel and a zip wire above the Principality. At the same time, the regional budgets and salary caps were being slashed, and they're still being cut. Add this to a distinct lack of player pathways when compared to the private school-fueled setups in Ireland, Scotland and England, the continuous rise of football's popularity and generational talents going elsewhere. It all meant when Abby Tierney became CEO, having never worked in sport before, she had a mountain to climb. And yet the beauty of sport, of course, is it isn't played in the boardroom, and sometimes it takes surprisingly little for the narrative to shift almost overnight. When Gatland left for the second time, interim coach Matt Sherratt only had 3 training sessions before Wales' next game, but the team looked unrecognisable, and all he did was pick players in the right positions and provide a bit of attacking structure. Suddenly, Wales were back pushing Ireland to the wire. As Gatland's first tenure taught us, for Wales' success to be sustainable, once the books are balanced, the regions need more money, salary caps need boosting, player pathways need investment. But it doesn't have to mean Wales lose every game in the meantime.
Good morning, it's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne. Former Millwall striker Tony Cascarino is here.
Good morning.
So Moses Atoma continues to deliver. He defeated Jermaine Franklin in Manchester. Post-fight, he spoke to Adi Oladipo with The Zone about his victory.
Listen, when I first turned professional, I thought I was able to win titles, but I didn't think that it's going to be so soon. So, I'm just a young boy chasing a dream.
Oh, he's so special, that's for sure. Is he ready to tackle the greats in the heavyweight game? That's what we're looking ahead to. Scotland suffered a 1-0 defeat against Japan in their first World Cup warm-up, and boss Steve Clarke has said he was surprised his players were booed off at full-time at Hampden.
Disappointed me.
I have to be honest. It's just the modern way. It seems to be now, if you lose a game, you get booed. So you just got to deal with it.
Still weird. Scotland fans, we want to hear from you this morning. Are you bothered about the results? Or are these friendlies just not that important? That number is 03717 223344. And yesterday, Sean Dyche was here at talkSPORT Towers doing a show with Johnny Owen. And after his links to the Spurs job, he told a story about whether he'd been approached for the job as yet.
This guy goes, oh, you meant to be in talks with Spurs tonight. No, well, I'm standing next to you having a pint of Guinness. I said, it's unlikely. I said, unless you work for Spurs and they're in the Seven Stars pub having a pint of Guinness. I said, it's highly unlikely.
Is he the man, though, for Spurs and to take them away from their relegation woes? We'll get Cass's thoughts on that. 03717 223344 Spurs fans. Is he the man for you? Should they have made the call by now? 81089 if you want to send us a text message. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Morning. You having a roast today? Or are you going out?
I don't know. I'm going out for lunch late afternoon.
Where are you taking
her? To somewhere in Locksbottom.
Oh, Locksbottom?
That's the name, yeah. Locksbottom.
Where's that?
It's near Bromley. Yeah. Well, it comes under the borough of Bromley. But next door there's a Pratt's Bottom as well.
A Pratt's Bottom?
Yeah.
I've been called that sometimes in my
Pratt's Bottom and Locksbottom.
Is it Italian? Japanese?
No, it's just it's a pub. Just, gastro pub.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I'm having Japanese today.
So I might have a roast. I don't know yet, Shebahn. I'm not sure.
Wait and see what happens. Yeah. See how you feel. Yesterday we brought you 3 commentaries from the Gallagher Prem on talkSPORT 2. It was a fiery afternoon at Villa Park. Leicester Tigers cruised to 36-17 victory over Gloucester to lift the Ed Slater Cup. However, the biggest talking point happened before kick-off when TNT Sports presenter Craig Doyle was almost a little bit shoved and sworn at by Tigers head coach Jeff Parling during a live segment on the pitch. I have to say, I think Craig did well to walk away from that one. He did, and just take himself away from it. Craig is going to be with us in just a second. He saw red after Doyle's co-presenter Liam McDevitt accidentally sent an initiation kick flying towards the Leicester players while they were warming up. Here's what Parling said about the incident.
Just communicate what's going on. The producer of TNT has already apologised. Should have just checked everything. I've got to protect my players and the safety issue with balls flying at them. We want the game to be done differently as a club. We want to sell our product, we really do, and we'll work hard with TNT to get that right next time.
Okay. Craig Doyle from TNT Sports is with us now. Craig, are you okay, hon? He gave you a bit of a shove.
Hey, is Jeff okay? Because, if I let loose, different story.
What happened?
Can I just say congratulations? I have to say congratulations to your producer who rang me at the start of the week saying, can you come on and talk about Sale against Bath? Little did he know this doozy would land on his lap.
It's trending, by the way.
I looked for every excuse in the world not to do this interview this morning, trust me. But look, so I know Jeff well, I've been working in rugby a long time, and Jeff rang me last night and we had a good laugh about it. To be perfectly honest with you, that's what happened. And he's like, right, next time we're on TV, you can give me a shove. I said, no worries, Jeff, at all. And that's why when he came over to me, I thought he was coming over for a chat, because the style, as you probably know from the football as well, the style we do things on TNT and have to do things is a little bit looser. And, we've great relationships with the clubs and the managers. And like Jeff Parling, by the way, because I know he's getting a bit of stick, we both are out there in the world. Jeff Parling's a great guy and he's a really good manager and the club's flying. But it was a very emotional day yesterday. Yeah. I should have smacked him one, shouldn't I? I should have popped him just a little one.
Watching that clip back.
Just a little one.
You were
just
like,
a little settler dig.
Okay, I'll go over here.
To be fair, Craig, he literally walks over to you and you do really well because you take the heat out of the situation immediately and just walk sideways.
Well, that's kind of the job, isn't it? Yeah. It's apologise for any cursing and make sure everyone's all right. So just before that, because Villa Park's such a great stadium, and it's the first time the Prem had been there. I'd been there to cover World Cup games, Rugby World Cup games back in 2015. But so we wanted to show everyone the stadium. So I wasn't even pitched. I was walking through, that long corridor with all the silhouettes of the trophies on. I was got like 22 trophies, great, and here's the European Cup. And I showed everyone the home dressing room, and I showed them the away dressing room, and told the story about the United fan bugging it, whenever it was last season. And then I go into the manager's room and I showed the trophy. And most importantly, I showed the Slater Cup and talked about Ed Slater and Lewis Moody. And And then I have to go out in the pitch, and then I'm like, where's Liam? Now, this is Liam's debut, might I add. What a lovely fella Liam is, right?
Yeah.
Great broadcaster. It's his debut. And I'm like, he's on the pitch, Craig. He's going to, and I'm presuming this has all been cleared with everyone, that everyone knows what's happening. There's loads of people there. And I'm like, oh, there's Liam. Liam, all right, here's your initiation. You want to do this kick. Fair play to Liam. He wants to give it a belt. And next thing, Jeff comes over, and I thought he was going to have a laugh. And I'm like, will you sign him, Jeff? He's like, boosh. But I didn't even know he pushed me. I said to Jeff last night, if you're going to push me, pal, push me harder, because I didn't even feel that big, man.
Lucky you didn't stick the nut in him.
Look, let's get back to the rugby yesterday. Leicester won comfortably in the end, but 24,000 there. Is this the sort of the forward for Leicester winning? Yeah, but is this the forward way for rugby, like going to Premier League clubs? Because obviously a really good turnout for the game.
I was going to say, is fighting directors of rugby pre-match going to be? I hope not. Some big lads out there. Yeah, it's really good for the game. So what was brilliant? What was brilliant? Yes. Can I just one last thing on this? And we'll put it to bed. The only disappointing thing is it's a bit of a laugh, and it's like all these things blown out of proportion. The only disappointing thing from my perspective is yesterday should have been all about Ed Slater, who's living with motor neuron disease. He was there with his family. He was in his wheelchair. And as all his kids were there, and I really wanted to put the spotlight on Ed and Lewis Moody, who was recently diagnosed, and the 5,500 people in the UK and Ireland who are living with motor neuron disease. And they need funds, they need research money, and I wanted it to be about that. So I'm a little bit annoyed that everyone's talking about that little spat when it should be about raising much needed funds for motor neuron disease. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
well, let's put that to bed. Yesterday was awesome because we started Villa Park, and then we went to the Principality Stadium in Cardiff. Over 40,000 people there for that one. And Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night for the Saracens game was rammers. It was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, they have to do it. They got to grow the game. The game is changing. The league is changing. It's becoming more independent. They're getting rid of relegation. It's turning into more of a franchise model now, which should bring more funds. We've seen that already. Red Bull going into Newcastle, and Dyson going into Bath, which will mean it'll become bigger and more popular, and we need more eyes watching it. So that it's all part of that. So it was a great day yesterday.
Yeah. Obviously, look, French rugby do this brilliantly. They seem to manage their clubs. Is there sort of an idea coming from France that can, because they have so much more money in their rugby, and I know it's very much a rugby nation as well.
Yeah, look, it's a big rugby, as is England, by the way. But there's just more people playing in France. There's bigger numbers, and with bigger numbers, more clubs, more people going to clubs. And their second division is very, very strong. Pretty good, very, very strong. And because of that, it feeds up obviously into the top 14. But it's also very well followed as well. Yeah. And that really helps us. In England, it's different. We just can't. Our second division, our championship, it's just not as competitive. It's a brilliant league, but it isn't working really as a feeder for the most part into the Premiership. You might get 2 or 3 clubs who will be able to come into the Prem. Not all of their grounds are suitable. You need a certain minimum number of seats to be able to come into the Gallagher Prem, and they mightn't have that. So after years of trying, and my word, they've tried, and arguably maybe they could have tried a bit harder at different stages, and the RFU could have tried a bit harder, but they've decided, right, let's just make it a closed shop, and let's try and push this league and make sure it survives as well as we can. So it's a really interesting time. I hope it works out. I love it, because what's brilliant about it, you've got, when you've got like Leicester Tigers playing Northampton State, like they hate each other. They really hate each other. And that rivalry is so unique and so brilliant in our league, and that's happening right across the league.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Henry Pollock was a star again yesterday for the Saints.
Always a star, like an absolute superstar. He's just signed for Matchroom as well, so he's only going to get bigger. He can back it up, though. He might have the hair and the headbands and the celebrations, but he's a brilliant, brilliant rugby player. You see with Northampton Saints, and you see with England. I love him. And look, there's some old farts out there, all right, let's say that, who mightn't like him and the way he shows off and celebrates. But I think it's brilliant for the game because, I know like my kids and their mates, they'll go around with the headband on, because they want to be like Henry Pollock. Brian O'Driscoll went home a couple of weeks ago after one of the England games, and one of his kids had a white shirt on and a headband on. He says, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm being Henry Pollock." Right? So sport needs that. Rugby needs that.
Yeah,
you know?
and he really divides people.
When I was young, we had Tony Cascarino. You see, we looked up to him.
Exactly. Gone are the good old days of Big Cass. Listen, thank you so much, Craig, for coming on. It was good to speak to you, and let us know if there's a round 2 of that fight coming up.
Yeah, listen, I'm just saying to Jeff, you know, I might be smaller than you, Jeff, but I'm quick for an old boy.
I'll have you.
Hey, Sale Sharks Bath is on telly today at 2:30, so do join us for that.
Wonderful. We will see.
Cheers, Craig.
All live on TNT Sports. That was Craig Doyle there. Take care of yourself. TNT Sports rugby presenter Craig Doyle there. Like he says, the action is on TNT today. Do you know when Henry Pollock, when you watch him and he's swinging his mouth guard around in his mouth, it really throws me. It's like menacing. I just can't help but watch what you do.
Some people, people have this aura, don't they? And he definitely has that.
Yeah, he does. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Search VW Transporter to find out more. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Sean Dyche and his links to the Spurs job. That's next.
Stefan, the cost of missing out on the Champions League. If I throw 4 at you here, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United or Newcastle, missing out in Champions League, who would feel it most?
Yeah, I think Newcastle would definitely feel it the most, just because the base they're coming off is that much smaller. So therefore the proportion that's associated with Champions League football is that much bigger. And they probably did something like £55 million of UEFA money. And then on top of that, obviously had the 5 home games on top, which are, or 6, probably 6 actually, when you, I think they had a playoff. So that's 6 home games on top. I mean, that's obviously very significant. So you're talking about 75 million quid out of revenue of, let's say, 300 this season. You know, it's quite a big drop next season if it's not there. Now, obviously, they may get Europa or the conference. The conference doesn't really move the dial at all. Good morning to you. Weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. This is Shebahn Aherne Tony Cascarino. Don't forget, you can now turn on your smart TV. If you're at home this Sunday morning, you have a smart telly, turn us on. Get a glimpse of the world of the talkSPORT studio. Cass also looks like a 10 out of 10 today, so it's worth turning on. If not, the YouTube channel.
What am I normally then?
2. But I need new lenses. These ones are a bit foggy today.
Yeah. Well, I made a bit of an effort considering I couldn't sleep very well last night and the clocks went forward and I completely got the time wrong. So I got up and thought, you know when you just get up and think, I'm not going to try and sleep for to get a 40 more minutes.
Oh, see, I'd take 30 seconds if I knew I had it. But close your eyes, go.
I just think, is it worth it trying to go back to sleep for 40 minutes? Look, good luck to people who can. I don't fall asleep very easily. So to me, it's like a bit of a battle anyway, generally.
It's a shame. See, I could
Some people just go on
I could cuddle up in this desk and nap.
And you go off.
Oh.
Yeah. What about on a plane?
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy.
Car?
Easy. Anywhere.
Never. In a car,
I'm
never.
not kidding. You could be doing a show and I could be sleeping on the carpet there like a cat. Just love it. I love napping. It's the best.
No, I know. I got one of my sons, Josh. He falls asleep literally of a blink of an eye, and he's gone. And you think, I just think straight away, I'm glad he ain't like me.
Yeah.
Say no more.
You sound like you're sleepy this morning. Your chat's rubbish. Why are we playing Scam by Jamiroquai? Apparently football fans, music lovers and holidaymakers are losing £1 million every month due to ticket scams.
Oh,
I feel we should know more about this now.
Yeah.
It's happening all the time. Fraudsters post adverts on social media. See, that's when you know there's a problem. Cut flights or tickets to events they've sold out and then they fleece the victims. Fraud Network had 10,395 cases reported last year worth 10.7 million. Have you ever been fleeced?
No, not really. Not as far as I can remember, but no. But it's a sad state of affairs, isn't it, in the world?
Yeah.
Where scamming is so prevalent everywhere.
So common.
You've got to be so careful on the phone calls you take, the messages you receive, going online and trying to book things. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, no, it is all over the papers today as well. Back pages, by the way. Sean Dyche, you'll see his face yesterday on talkSPORT. He was here, the formerly Everton, Forest and Burnley manager. Was alongside Johnny Owen. They discussed England's performance, his time at Forest and what he thinks about his links to the Spurs job. Here's what he had to say about being linked with a position as the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is currently unavailable.
According to social media, obviously you were in London last night.
Brilliant.
Talking to Spurs.
That was brilliant. Honestly, I was in the pub just up the way near my place I've got down there. And this guy goes, you meant to be in talks with Spurs tonight. I know, well, I'm standing next to you having a pint of Guinness. So I said, it's unlikely. I said, at least you work for Spurs and they're in the Seven Stars pub having a pint of Guinness. I said, it's highly unlikely. No, I'm not. I'm with you, mate, and I'm on talkSPORT. That's what I'm doing.
Sean Dyche there with Johnny Owen yesterday. He's always a great listen.
Yeah.
A fascinating insight.
Do you know what I like about Sean Dyche? I've crossed, I think once I've crossed his path, but I mean, Ian Wone, who's worked under Sean I know Ian through Teddy Sheringham because he's been his assistant over the years. And I always feel with Sean Dyche, he doesn't get too up or too down about anything. Even when he lost his job at Forest this year, and it was a very short period, but he didn't seem to get overly affected. Now, people might say, well, yeah, he's got paid off to some degree. I think he knows the environment of football very, very well.
Yeah.
And manages his way through it.
And also I like the way he's kind of told that story, because at the end of the day, somebody is in that job.
Yeah.
So to be touting yourself or putting yourself out there, yes, I'm available, or I haven't heard from them just yet. The way I think he's turned it and made it a bit of fun. I'm having a Guinness with you, so what do you think?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Shows he's got a class about him as well. He's not going to disrespect managers.
It's being respectful of other people in positions, because if it was you and someone was putting themselves up and saying, yeah, they have the job. I mean, look, last Sunday I did a piece and I went to the Tottenham Forest game, and Tottenham weren't particularly good. Well, they played all right first half, give them that. But by the end of the game, they got beat comfortably by Forest. And I sort of said they had to make a decision on their manager within 24 hours for the good or the bad. And then obviously we learnt the news of his father passing away. So that made a bit of a change on it. So here we are a week later and nothing has happened. So for me at the moment, I don't see them announcing a manager on Monday. I think it's too late. There's a little time for a new guy to come in. So I think they're going to go with it again.
Only thing is they now know they need the firefighter, and we're not sure if Igor Tudor can be that guy, whereas we know that Sean Dyche has done that in the Premier League, so he could be the man that they need.
Yeah, but you can't manage against Atletico Madrid and then go to Liverpool and get a draw and win the game against Atletico and then 3 days later go, now he's not the man, when you've sort of decided after that result at Liverpool and that result against Madrid in the Champions League that you're going to stay with him, and then after a heavy defeat again at home, you suddenly go change again. You can't keep... You've got to make up your mind of we either stay with him or you make the decision and call it a day. And they, for me at the moment, it looks like they've gone, no, we're staying with Tudor to the end of the season.
Sunday, the 12th of April, is Tottenham's next game. They're away at Sunderland. Will we know more then? I mean, if they are to lose that game, they are in the relegation.
Well, look, we never...
They're just a point outside it, Cass.
Shebahn, we never know. There could be, even before that game, a decision made, but it would have seemed strange the last week has gone by, unless they've interviewed, because clubs are always interviewing and looking out for people that might be available, and they could easily make the call in midweek. But as far as it looks today, it seems that the story's been dampened slightly, hasn't it? You know, they do say, there's no smoke without fire, and, so... I really think they're going to stay with him till the next game, Sunderland away. But what, are you going to change after that game?
Well, if they're battered, yeah, I would imagine they probably have to.
Yeah.
So then they've got Brighton, they've got Wolves, which should be a winnable game, but you never know with Spurs. And then they've got
7's such a low number of games left.
Yeah,
it really is. It's not like 12 or 10. And they as far as I know, they haven't been in the bottom three all season, have they, Spurs?
I mean, the fact is that, no, they haven't, but they've got Everton on the last game of the season.
Yeah.
They could be fighting for their lives there, and the manager might be Sean Dyche.
Yeah. It might be one of a few, by the sounds of it.
Who do you think it should be? Stick with Tudor? Do you know that you can get the job done, knowing that Sean Dyche can save teams from relegation?
It's really hard for an ex-player to answer who should be the manager when I think it's on them, right? Can Tottenham make a right decision and know what's needed and required at their football club? Because they know stuff we don't. They know what goes on in the training ground. They know the preparation. They know the relationship between him and the players. And they know they've got some tough decisions in the summer. But they're far better placed than Tony Cascarino and say who should have the job. Because I look at it and think, I know it's hard because this club has made a lot of bad decisions, certainly in the last year or two. And it's got to make a good one. Well, who that happens to be, if it's staying with him or going with someone else, they've got to get it right.
Well, they've got time, haven't they? Because the next game then, as we said, is on the 12th.
12th of April,
of April. Whether in the next week they look to make a change or do they keep with Tudor and...
Management's hard enough, Shebahn.
I know.
It's such a tough gig, and I see people losing their jobs and so quickly, and I just feel like I just look at football and think there has to be a ruling. I know I don't like regulation, new rules, but something about if you make so many changes, you're really allowed to go to a third or fourth manager in a season.
Yeah, but there's making the right decision. I think the board may well have got the Spurs appointment wrong.
It may be.
Considering the situation that they were in the table, that maybe he wasn't the right man. That's not on Tudor. He didn't give himself the job. And hopefully he will be looked after. If he's to lose his job, he'll be, money-wise, he'll be taken care of for a wee while. It reminds me of Celtic and the board bringing in Wilfred Nancy. What they did right there was admitting that they got it wrong and they made the change and they brought back Martin. He was never the right appointment. It was never going to work out, and I feel that might be the case with Tudor in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that's, happens quite often. The boards make heavy mistakes, but they don't really pay the price of it. They might go, yes, we do. We go down and it costs us huge financially. But, sometimes I just feel like, well, maybe if you can make good decisions more than bad ones more often, you might be better placed as a club. They're clearly not.
Would be nice to see. Check out the latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily Podcast. It's available for you now. You can get more detail from Sean Dyche and Johnny Owen to discuss the fallout from England versus Uruguay, his links to the Spurs job, and how his time ended at Nottingham Forest, and whether Sean thinks the long throw-ins are utter woke nonsense. The talkSPORT Daily Podcast, available now on all platforms, or listen for free on the talkSPORT app. Coming up for you next, we'll discuss the latest news from the England camp with former Bolton and England striker Kevin Davies is with us next.
You played in Korea and Japan, didn't you? World Cup in 2002. Did you find it hard, the weather conditions to play in?
They are tough, and in South Africa as well. We played a game, and then the altitude, the ball moves different and everything. And if you're not used to it, as we know, we all love to go on holiday in the summer, but playing football, running around in that heat and that weather, it takes its toll at the time, and we're just not a nation that's used to that. So that's one of the major things I look at when it comes to that tournament being over there.
What about strikers? We know Harry Kane's going to go, but if you looked at the Euros, he was injured, wasn't he? And Gareth Southgate was still playing him. Maybe he didn't trust other strikers in the squad. What do you think of tonight? Do you think Solanke and Calvert-Lewin have to put in a performance?
It's Chico time. Well, you can get delirious if you take life too serious. It's Chico time.
Oh no. It's not Chico time.
It's Chico time.
Chico time.
Who's Chico? I don't know.
You must know who Chico is.
Well, no, obviously I don't.
From the X Factor? Chico time?
Oh, I don't watch the X Factor.
It's years and years ago that Chico was on it.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
You never watched the X Factor?
I might have seen a clip and that's about it, but no, not for me.
Well, we're doing songs dedicated to time with the hours moving in the night. We've sprung
Well, you could put a
forward
Pink Floyd song on called Time.
I did request your Pink Floyd song.
Proper music.
Proper tunes.
Yeah.
Chico time. Classic. It's Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Gillingham striker Tony Cascarino. Your headlines: Kimi Antonelli claimed the Formula One World Championship lead for the first time in his career after taking advantage of well-timed safety car to win the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, in a chaotic World Cup warm-up, Belgium embarrassed the USA with a 5-2 victory in Atlanta. The match was marred by confusing white versus white kit clash that left the fans and players furious. I've just seen some of this on our website at talksport.com. It is actually hard to tell them apart.
Yeah, I saw the goals because obviously it finished 5-2, didn't it, to Belgium? And I saw the goals and I couldn't work out who was who.
What was
it was a tricky one.
Yeah, the both obviously had white strips on and then different kind of flashes of colours going through the USA from the red to the blue, and then the others were in white. So it is quite hard to quite hard to see. Anyway, 5-2 was the win in Atlanta for Belgium. And Inter Miami have started talks with Casemiro, who will leave Manchester United at the end of the season and is open to joining the MLS sides. He's had such a revival this season.
Yeah, he's been, since the day they said they were releasing him, he's been fantastic.
See, I always think he's been good for Manchester.
I think he's had difficult times. I mean, but
haven't they all though?
Yeah, the club were in a real limbo period and he wasn't playing particularly well. He was in and out of the team. But Casemiro, look, you can't argue with what he's won. He's won everything in the game, certainly with Real Madrid. And as time's gone on, I think Man United fans will look back and say, do you know what? He done pretty well for us.
Yeah.
And he's always seemed to have given his all, even though there's been a lot of difficult moments.
It's interesting because he always played with Ruben Amorim, but since Carrick's joined the club, you can see this like real light-hearted energy about Casemiro.
Well, Mainoo's come in the team alongside him. Fernandes has played a little bit more further forward, and it's just enabled him to be a certain type of player that he's always chipped in with goals, big goals as well at Old Trafford.
He's got incredible experience, and I know a number of players in the Manchester United team have, but should they not be trying to, when he's playing this way and they know his capabilities, keeping hold of a player like that?
It probably comes down to wages and the sort of contract he was on, and I'm sure he would have had offers elsewhere in the game, whether it's America, Miami, and also sometimes it's just time to move on. That's it. There's no other debate there. Do United want to commit to another 2-3 year contract for him? You know, because he'll probably be offered a 2-year in Miami at least.
Yeah.
So, you know, they might want to open it up for bringing in another type of player. And his wages were so big, it'd obviously be a top player of younger ilk, you know. So I get it. You know, sometimes it just, even though he's done really well, he's not going to go and take half the wages he was on in the last few years to stay at Manchester United, is he? They might say, yeah, we'll keep you 1 year, but it's not that. You've sort of gone past that now.
Yeah, I was at the game.
Hey, fair play to him for still, you know, wanting to play as well as he can and do as much as he can. Man United fans will appreciate that.
Yeah, certainly do this season, that's for sure. Let's talk about Harry Kane. He's entering the twilight of his international career, and the hunt for a successor is on, particularly for England. Thomas Tuchel's split squad experiment against Uruguay was supposed to provide some answers. However, the Dominics, Dom Solanke and Calvert-Lewin, both failing to hit the target, and Calvert-Lewin now officially axed from the camp. Questions are mounting over whether England actually have any genuine backups for the England captain. Former England striker Emile Heskey told talkSPORT Breakfast this week that the role of the modern-day striker has changed.
We're in an era where it's not about the strikers, it's more about the wingers, isn't it? Coming in and shooting, coming in and scoring. And that's who for the last 10, 15 years who have been scoring the most goals, other than obviously Haaland's, etc. But we were tasked as two up front to be working hard, working the whole back line and causing problems. Now it's a lot different now, where you're pretty much central and you've just got to wait till the ball gets into the box, and that's when you come into play. So a lot of if you go to say the youth setups, not many want to be strikers anymore. They want to be wingers.
What do you think of that, Cass?
Yeah, Emile spoke's absolute sense. It's where the game's gone. And apart of the odd exception, there are not them type of strikers. You know, Lewandowski's still playing at Barcelona at a ripe old age. You know, we've seen others. Dzeko in midweek, he's 40. He was a leading the line touch striker, has always got good numbers. Kane, you know, is another one. Haaland he mentioned. But there's very few natural goal scorers that will just get huge numbers because of the way the game's developed and changed.
Let's discuss it more now with a Bolton legend. Kevin Davies is with us this morning. Morning, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Good morning. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. I mean, it's an argument, Kevin. I've always said every striker I've played with, I've asked them would they prefer to play on their own or with a striker, and everybody said the same one. I'd love to have a partner, but we're not there anymore, are we?
I don't think so. I don't think over the last sort of 5 or 10 years, the way the game sort of evolved, there's been a lot of these sort of number 10s, and as Emile was saying there, a lot of wingers coming in now. So the game has changed from that sort of standard 4-4-2, you know, get up to the big man and get the smaller one running off him per se. So, but I see it coming back at some stage. I think it works in cycles, football, doesn't it? So lots of technically very good players in England and around the world at the moment, down to the academies, down to the coaching, all those standards that have risen. So they're the big number 9. There are a few in the Premier League now, of course. still. So you do see it down the leagues as well. They're going a bit more, direct in Route 1. I love that style of play, obviously, and it works for us at Bolton, for instance. So, but yeah, not as much these days.
Do you know what it takes, Kevin? It's always the same thing. If someone comes in with the idea and slightly an altered version of it, but is successful, that will be the defining moment.
Exactly, yeah. And like I say, for me, watching football, particularly this year, I find it a bit, playing out the back, a bit mundane at times. I think it's a little bit more boring. I think I ended up watching a game, I think it was Man United v Spurs on one of the old Sky games, from the mid-90s, and it was a proper, Schmeichel launching up front. I really enjoyed the game, I must say. Both teams going at it, tackles flying in, not people rolling around faking injury, and I really enjoyed the game. And I think it's just gone a bit tippy-tappy for me at the moment. But listen, what's to say it won't change again?
Let's focus then on Tuchel's strikers and the options available to him. What do you think of the situation? Who plays behind Harry Kane? And would you bring in Danny Welbeck? I mean, it's World Cup just around the corner. He's doing the job in the Premier League. Should he look at him as an option?
I think he should have potentially been in the squad based on what he's done so far this season. The experience he's got is a good character. I think he'd be good for the squad. I think it's important. I think Tuchel's looking at probably not just what they're doing on the pitch at the moment, but the characters of them as well. So he's trying to get that balance of experience and the balance of, blood in some new blood, isn't it? It's important that we get these young players coming through and getting tournament experience as well. So he's really got to get that balance right. But other than, if Harry Kane gets injured or something, then who's the next guy? I think Welbeck would probably tick that box to me, yeah.
Quite a number of years ago, Kevin, I had a conversation with my manager in international football, and Big Jack said to me, you can't do this in international, we can't do that. And then we see the penalties that have been given in midweek, and Ireland were given a fortunate one, and Ben White, I mean, I'm not sure what he did to concede a penalty, apart from lift his foot, which, by the way, the opposing player did as well. And I just feel like, where are we going with penalties, and where is it going to end? Because they are so soft now.
It's tough, isn't it? I think it must be so frustrating for players, management, staff, supporters, obviously. The amount of time not only it takes, but the soft ones, you just want to. I watch a bit of non-league football now with my son down in Dorset. And it's just nice when the game flows, just let it flow. And it's just become a bit too much now, hasn't it? The soft ones, the diving, any sort of contact. The players looking to get a bit of contact on the defender as well to draw the foul and the penalty. It's just a bit too much to watch at times, isn't it? So I think just getting that consistency right. I think in general, in England, we've got some of the best referees, and I know we moan about officials all the time, but I think it's something that England are going to really have to focus on playing on the continent for sure.
I'm not very optimistic, Kevin, because I just feel like with regulation and where we're going, and the slightest of touches, and people are just going to go, that's a pen. I'm delighted when a ref goes to the monitor and go, no, not for me, too soft.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough to watch, isn't it? I think it is sort of ruining the experience of watching the games at home or at the games as well, isn't it? It's definitely something we need to look at in the future. I think it's tough to watch at times, and I think that just proves it in the last game for England as well with Ben White. Definitely not a penalty, but the amount of time it takes, the referee was there, wasn't he? Had a great view of it. Just play on, surely.
Yeah, and like I say, sometimes when it's in a certain circumstance, you'll take it. Like Ireland the other night, we just looked at each other on the couch. We're like, never a penalty, but take it.
We're all biased, aren't we, for our team, and I understand that. But the long haul, the game is going to suffer if we continue, because we're in 2026. If we get to 2030, 2035, whatever a penalty is going to be, and remember, it's always a shot from 12 yards against a one-on-one and one-on-one.
I think. Listen, I can look back at technology and think it would have helped me, with Chesterfield getting to an FA Cup final and things like that, of course. But it's just, where does it stop? It's just overtaking the game. I always think just give each team one challenge or something per half or per game, and they can go and challenge it, and then the game can just flow. Let the referee make his decision and move on. You're going to upset some people, but the game is just going to be better, isn't it? Surely, something like that.
You're right.
Quickly then, what does Thomas Tuchel? I mean, he can control who's bringing into the squad, who he's starting. What do you want to see on Tuesday against Japan?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a bit more of the old guard, isn't it? Probably a lot more of the starters probably going to be starting. So he's had a good look at the fringe players. And like I said before, I think it's important that he looks at them as characters in the squad. I think he knows pretty much probably most of his starting. He's probably 7 or 8 players. I think he's pretty nailed on, aren't they, to start. So I just think for me, he needs to get that balance right. And I'm quite excited by potentially taking some players with 4 or 5 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 caps or whatever without any sort of big time World Cup experience, and go and blood them, go and let them play without the fear. I think if you look down the spine, he's got potentially Kane, sort of maybe a Henderson or a Rice in there, midfield, and Maguire, Pickford. You've got a good spine of experienced quality players there, and go and really put like a Palmer or someone like that on the wings who can go and really light up the tournament. Someone's got to really step up for England, I feel, in the tournament. We can't just rely on Kane and maybe a set piece in there, so like a Rashford or a Rodgers. I think we've got really good, exciting players who can play in behind. Good options for the manager there, and he seems quite relaxed by it all, doesn't he? His interviews, I think he's got a good squad of players, 35 players there to look at. Obviously got to make a decision in a couple of months to narrow that down, but I think he's got good options going forward, and that's really what keeps me excited about the World Cup. I don't think we've got enough to win it, but I think we've got good players, and we can go, and if we win the group, we've got a good path to the quarterfinals, and we'll see what happens from there, really.
Well, the papers are going at the back, the papers today, that Thomas Tuchel has listed 4 centre-backs ahead of Harry Maguire, which may be the case, but got to take him.
I think so. You can't just take those players that haven't got much experience, because the big time tournaments, the big games come along, the nerves creep up, and you need players in there like Harry Maguire, calming experience. He's going to take someone like Henderson in there as well. So I think it's important he gets that balance right, a bit of experience, but really for me, go and blood the young players, I think, and give them a go, because they play without fear, don't they, these young lads? They haven't got the sort of history and stuff that some of the senior players will take into those games, and the fear of upsetting the media and the fans back home. We've seen it all before, haven't we? So for me, it's going to be key that those young players step up and go and really have a good tournament. Yeah.
Kevin, have you seen this clip of Rio Ferdinand doing the podcast saying that you were one of the toughest ever opponents? That's nice, isn't it?
It is nice, yeah. I think it was a good era. We likes of Rio and John Terry. We had some great battles over the year, and we had a beer and we shook a hand afterwards. That's what it was all about, wasn't it?
Game's
trying
gone.
to win your battles. They win some, you win some. That was football, wasn't it? I enjoyed it. Yeah. So it's nice to hear you.
Good. Well, thank you for coming on.
Cheers, Kevin. All the best.
Cheers. Have a good weekend.
Formerly of Bolton, 70 goals for Bolton.
Yeah, done brilliantly well, and a bit of, always an unsung hero. We're done a really valid job. I remember watching him at Bolton, and just thinking he improved so much of learning how to lead the line, and done it with. He wasn't the quickest, a bit like me, wasn't the quickest, but learning your trade and applying it and upsetting really top centre halves and doing it regularly.
And he made his England debut when he was 33.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to speak to Kevin Davies there, by the way, quickly, with the international break, everything going on, you switch off for a minute and you miss something important. talkSPORT Hit is where you can keep across absolutely everything. It's a new podcast available now. Everything you need to know from the world of sport in under 15 minutes, from football, F1, boxing to the Barmy Army, all the headlines around the world. We have you covered on the talkSPORT Hit. Wherever it is you get your podcast, you can listen to it as well on the talkSPORT app. Coming up for you next, we've got a little bit of time for Cascarino yes, Cascarino.
Liverpool have announced on Tuesday the cost of attending a match at Anfield is going to increase. It's going to go up by 3% next season, following further increases in line with inflation over the next 2 campaigns. They've decided to do this despite consulting with the Liverpool FC Supporters Board, a decision which was firmly opposed by fan leaders. Liverpool have revealed that adult general admission tickets, which currently cost £39 to £61, are going to rise between about £1.25 and £1.75. Adult season tickets, priced at £713 to £904, will increase by 21 or £27. They say the cost of junior tickets and local general tickets available to those with a Liverpool postcode would remain frozen. Fenway Sports, though, the owners of Liverpool, have been in charge since 2010, haven't increased prices on the Kop since they took over in 2010. So I suppose the big question is why have they decided now to put up the prices, and why do they believe that they need to go up over the next 3 years in line with inflation?
Maybe because they
And then one day you find 10 years have gone behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun.
Good morning, Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne Tony Cascarino. Is this the song you want?
Yeah, Pink
This
Floyd,
is it.
Dave Gilmour,
There you go.
Roger Waters.
I just
Time.
yeah, because the clocks went forward. That's why we're
Yeah.
doing some time tunes today. But I just got a message from Jamie saying nope. And then I thought, what's he saying no to? And I text Jamie asking to get you a glass of water. Instead of texting the Weekend Sport
I was
Breakfast.
going to say, the water didn't come. But...
Trips, if you're listening in the office, any chance Cass can get a water, please?
Oh, we're going in 10. I can get my own, Shebahn. Don't worry.
Sorry, and Jamie's not bringing you any either. Some of your headlines this morning. Viviana Miedema's double helped Man City edge closer to the Women's Super League title with a comfortable derby win over neighbours Manchester United. 2 from Miedema. A goal from Kasperai as well. 2 Dutch wonders in action for City yesterday, and it looks like they've won the WSL. In other news, 10-player Liverpool held on for their first WSL win on the road this season with a victory over local rivals Everton at Goodison Park. And Kimi Antonelli took his second win in succession and lead of the World Championship after being gifted victory in the Japanese Grand Prix by safety car period. Now, in case you missed it, Sir David Beckham was on drive on Friday with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. If you missed this, it simply was driven by Bex. He got in touch with Andy, let me come on the show, I'm about for a chat. And they got on the phone and they spoke about the challenge of adapting to life at Real Madrid. And he says it's no surprise it will take Jude Bellingham time to really get to grips with life at the club.
Real Madrid it's a monster of a club, and you feel the expectations. The moment you sign for that club, the expectation is probably like no other club that I've played for. Obviously growing up in Manchester, Manchester United is one of the biggest, if not the biggest club in the world in my mind. But that's me talking as a Man United fan. But Real Madrid, you turn up. You walk into that stadium, you put that shirt on, you look at the history of the club. Everything about Real Madrid feels different. I remember in my first season and my first game, walking into other stadiums, people look at you different. They treat you different. You turn up and it's a different feeling. It's an unbelievable feeling. So there's a certain amount of pressure that comes with that. But in all honesty, I loved the pressure. I loved the pressure of going there and trying to prove myself again.
Do you know what? I think Jude is the guy who loves the pressure, much like Bex.
Yeah, well, he had a fantastic first season at Real Madrid. He's got a lot of goals. Unfortunately for him this year, he's been blighted by injury, which has not enabled him to show what he can do. Hopefully he can get back fit enough before the World Cup and play some games for Real Madrid. But yeah, he loves the challenge, but then you've got to give someone credit who goes to Borussia Dortmund as a young boy. From Birmingham City to Borussia Dortmund, he embraced that as well. So a lot of things have gone well. It's not coincidence that he's done so well. Not only what he's done for Dortmund, but what he's done for England and what his first season was like at Real Madrid.
He'll be so crucial for Thomas Tuchel in the World Cup.
Yeah, well, I think he'll play that role. I think he'll play behind Kane. I really do. Yeah. And I think more likely Morgan Rogers will go on the left. Because of the way he plays for Villa. He definitely is. He plays that position better than any other one on the pitch for Villa. It is I've never played against Real Madrid. I've played against Milan. I played against Juventus. I played against some very big clubs, PSG. But, Real Madrid, Barcelona, it's the ultimate.
Yeah. Don't forget, of course, England taking on Japan is live on talkSPORT, Tuesday night for you. And Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bennett back tomorrow for you, 4 o'clock here on talkSPORT. Good news. Alan Brazil is back on Wednesday.
Good.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
He's had a break.
Yeah, he has. He's been in Marbs. And he's back on Wednesday. You've got Ali McCoist and Gabby Agbon Lahore with you tomorrow morning from 6. Okay, let's do a little bit of this.
Cascarino yes or Cascarino no?
On the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT.
What?
Yep, it's where we get Cass to answer some burning sports questions and we rattle through these at the court of Cascarino yes, Cascarino no. First up, Cass, France play Colombia later on tonight. Kylian Mbappe could become France's all-time top scorer today if he scores 2 goals. Currently on 56, record 57. Do you see that happening tonight?
Maybe, but he's obviously going to break it. Kylian's an extraordinary player. He's won the World Cup for France. He's very best and dynamic. I saw him at Monaco as a young boy. Frighteningly good. Apart from Platini, Thierry Henry, Zidane, you could argue he's as good as them. He's certainly on that same level playing field. Olivier Giroud has got one more goal, 57, yeah? He's played 40-odd more games than Mbappe has. So he's going to easily be the French top goal scorer in the next year or two by a long way.
Well, according to Thomas Tuchel, Harry Maguire is the 5th choice centre-back for England at this current time. That's the reports in the papers today. Being the 5th choice centre-back, is Maguire's place on the plane already in jeopardy, or is he going?
I think he'll take him. I said earlier in the show that Maguire's played second fiddle even at Manchester United under Amorim when he weren't even in the top 4 at one time, and likewise with Ten Hag. I think Harry's proved people wrong often enough, and I think he'll prove Tuchel wrong, and he'll take him, and he'll probably use him.
I don't see a world that Harry Maguire is not on the plane.
Oh, no, nor do I.
He's on the plane.
No, I think it would be a mistake not to take him. Also, he seems, from what I know and what I've heard, a great character within the group. And also, he's played really well towards the end of the season with Manchester United. So everyone's going to be concerned about his pace. He's naturally a good defender, and he's very good at set pieces, for and against. And he's a decent player on the ball. Laurent Blanc played for France and won the World Cup, and Harry's quicker than Laurent Blanc.
Okay, lastly, Sandro Tonali has been linked with a move away from Newcastle. According to reports, Manchester United are one of the suitors. So, Cass, if Newcastle fail to make European football next season, do you see Tonali staying at the club? Let's start there.
No, I think he's made noises that pastures are greener elsewhere, and if that's the case, I think Newcastle United have to move on from him. And he is a very good player. He is exceptionally gifted, and he's got a bit of an eye of a goal, tenacious, but I don't think it's the biggest loss for Newcastle.
Would he be a good replacement then to Casemiro, who we were discussing earlier on?
Well, yeah, I think he's definitely got a little bit more legs in midfield. He won't outscore Casemiro. Casemiro would always get more goals than Tonali. So, I think he'll still have to prove he's a United player and that quality, because if they make the Champions League, which I'm pretty sure they will now, he's got to show that, and he's done it in Europe for Newcastle, but it'll be a bigger challenge at Manchester United.
There's more on that on our website at talksport.com. Cass, you made it through a 4-hour show with 1 hour's less sleep. And my chat, well done too.
We've got another hour, Shebahn.
One of the clocks in the studio is still an hour behind. I don't know what's happening. Where are we? What are we doing?
Shall we just quit anyway?
Let's quit while we're ahead, shall we? We're building up, of course, to the international friendlies taking place for you next week. There's lots to get into today. Cass, I'll see you soon because I'm off for half term.
You're having another holiday.
We can make love by Wednesday, on Friday. Coming up for you next, it's the Sunday edition with Sean Custis and Henry Winter. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
She was looking fine. Smooth talker, she told me she loved to unfold me all night long.